Welcome to the show, everybody. We are your host, the Proud Boys. Just kidding.
Oh, God.
Too topical.
Canceled.
Too topical.
No, that is a joke, obviously. We are Chase and Myles, and we are at the Lucky Duck. Woo. Myles, please tell the good people, who do we have on today?
All right. Thanks, Chase. Okay, let's get started. Did I mention we're drinking some bourbon today?
Ooh, which kind of bourbon?
Four Roses. Wait,
Four
hold on. I think we should
Roses.
introduce our guest first.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Today's guest comes from Disney World. We've known him since high school. Like our last guest, you may recognize him from the media, where he was featured a number of times on live television during his tenure as a UCF Marching Knights drum major. He's now a music teacher. Our tallest friend, this is Scott.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Scat.
I'm your tallest friend.
Oh,
Maybe
he's
I don't
blushing.
know.
You can tell.
Mine? Maybe not Jay's.
No,
I don't know.
No.
Derek's
Cheers,
pretty
gentlemen.
tall. Cheers.
Let's give this episode a good start off. A little
Cheers.
little bourbon cheers.
friends.
Here we
That was
go.
a good clink. We should have done it in front of the mic.
Give a nice smell. All these notes.
Smell some caramel.
What are you getting notes of? There's some easy ones. You can just say like caramel. That's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Butterscotch. What's another one that you always see for bourbon?
I don't know, spicy.
Yeah.
There's a
Little spice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is not as spicy though.
No,
I have a
Four
one that's
Rivers.
a Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
That's done by like the parent company of Buffalo Trace, and that one's pretty spicy.
Beautiful and sweet.
Sweet.
That's our Four Roses.
We're a fan. You should be too. Also, if you go to fourroses.com and put in the promo code @theluckyduck, you can save 20%.
Or you won't.
Oh, you definitely won't.
But Four Roses, get at these boys. Get after them.
Please give us money.
Lock them up while you can.
Have you guys used honey yet?
Are we just going to go down
Let me tell
the
you,
line of like,
I
all
shave
the-
my balls with Manscaped.
How's that working out?
Roman.
So good.
What?
Wait, of course you.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry, Miles.
So Scott,
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us why are you the way that you are?
My mom's been trying to figure that out. No.
The intervention flag comes down behind us.
Oh my God, that'd be the greatest twist
It would
ever.
be, yeah.
Oh man, I was.
It's
feeling
not a
so-
podcast. It's an intervention.
Yeah, you
podcast.
literally just set up a whole podcast studio and many episodes of a podcast ahead of mine just to
the
get me
intervention?
here for an intervention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's also
What
about
are you
your
intervening
alcoholism.
about? My alcoholism? Really? My alcoholism? My 2 to maybe
Cheers.
3 drinks a week?
I mean, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
What is this, a Guinness
I'm
over
on
here,
vacation.
half empty?
I'm on
You,
vacation.
you double fisting over
Give me
here?
a fucking break.
That's the best excuse ever for drinking.
Yeah, whatever.
Vacation.
True.
Everything in
I like
moderation.
it.
That's
I
the
use
saying,
it.
right? Everything in moderation.
I say it when I'm not on vacation. I'm on vacation, so shut up.
You just say that when you're not on vacation.
Yeah, when people complain about my drinking. But
Oh, okay.
people
Do people complain about your drinking?
No.
Every
I don't
time,
have
I was gonna
drinking
say.
every
problem.
time I come over here, like it'll be a Thursday, and Chase is like, this is his quote. It's like, I don't usually drink during the week, but since you're here, we should have a beer, right?
You're a bad influence.
But Chase, I came here yesterday and the day before, and I was with you all last weekend.
And he
It's the
says it.
weekend,
He says it
okay.
every time.
No,
As if
I
that's an
think
excuse.
what happens is y'all are bad influence on me.
Oh yeah, for sure, it's us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my drinking did go up before I moved here.
Mm.
No, after
That's
I moved
because
here.
Colorado has such a
Yeah.
great brewery scene.
I will say, yeah, I would drink a lot more beer if I lived in Colorado, but I would also do a lot more hiking. So I feel like that
It balances out.
Yeah.
There's
it makes
a
sense that there's such a
coexistence of beer.
yeah,
and
there's a
hiking.
big following for both,
A beer after a good hike is amazing.
Yeah.
or during or before.
I like Michelob Ultra
Depends.
capitalized on that idea. They
Yeah.
were like, is a commercial of a bunch of hikers going on the hike, and they're all sweaty, and they get to the end, and they just pop open a Michelob Ultra. I'm like, that's what I do when I get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pull
true.
out my Mick Ultras.
To pull out my lukewarm Camelback Mick Ultra.
Only because they didn't have Keystone Light when I was at the
That's true.
When I was at the
And I
store
ran
buying
out
it.
of Baja Blast.
Oh yeah.
I always
Ew,
joke
in your
about putting
Camelback.
Baja Blast in my Camelback.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going on hikes. Isn't
You
that
should.
the best?
Do it just one time, just so somebody can taste it and be like,
Throw
"Oh
up.
my god, it's actually Baja Blast,"
Yeah.
and it's all flat because we were hiking.
Yeah.
That's just, and it's warm.
Yeah, right. Miles,
gets
have you
warm.
heard of the dew garita?
Oh.
I was just talking to Chase about this morning. This is a real thing.
Oh, yes.
the
Olive
dew
Garden?
garita. No,
Red
close.
Lobster?
Red Lobster.
Red
yes,
Lobster.
That's
they've
right.
got a
Look it up.
margarita based on Mountain Dew.
Oh my god. So
Like-
yeah, we're pretty sure it has like what does it have? in it? Like Midori.
Yeah,
Mountain
I saw a
Dew.
video where they like reverse
Yeah,
engineered
what's
the recipe.
main alcohol in it though?
Tequila, because
Okay,
it's a margarita.
Oh yeah, duh.
It was funny because
Good.
he was using like some like specialty tequila, something really nice,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Yeah, they're probably not using this tequila." And then he's like, he like realizes what he just said, and he's like, "They're definitely not using this tequila. They're using something.
They're
far-
doing a really cheap well.
yeah,
Tequila
for
yeah.
sure.
Wow. Mhm.
Maybe some Jose if they're lucky.
They,
Yeah.
so Mountain Dew tweeted, and they said, "We're ready to shake things up with our new buds at Red Lobster. By the way, still dreaming about our last Cheddar Bay biscuit."
You know,
And then it's this
yeah.
picture of a disgusting looking drink.
It looks like alien piss. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
green.
Like, it's like
Also,
radiation.
It looks
Look
like
at that-
radioactive.
Look at that
sludge.
lime slice. Hold on, that's what's bothering me. I feel like Will Smith in Men in Black, where he shoots a little girl with all the books, because I noticed something weird that you're not really supposed to see. You know.
Yeah.
But the lime is like barely holding on.
It's super awkward.
Well,
yeah,
first
that's not
off,
how you put a lime on there.
First off, that is photoshopped to hell.
for sure.
The proportions are way off. There's no
Yeah.
way. So that drink is about that big around
Mm-hmm.
at best. There's no way they have a lime that's that small that they sliced up, and you can tell it just
Dude,
looks too good.
the lime is over here,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, yeah, the
Also-
lime in the background, like 10 feet away, is the
Yeah.
same size as the slice on the fucking drink.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it looks like
Dude,
they
Garita.
cut a little sliver into it and then somehow perfectly stuck it on there.
It's funny too. The guy who I was watching, you notice it has a red sugar rim, because
Yeah.
obviously salt wouldn't really work
Is that
on
Dorito?
a soda.
Dorito
Yes.
powder?
Salty Mountain Dew.
No, God, that would be a neckbeard's fantasy though, eh? No, it's just regular like red cake or cookie decorating sugar. You know,
Oh.
like confectioners
Gross.
specialty red sugar.
I guess
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't really matter.
it's just crusty. Actually, though, I like a margarita with sugar. I don't like a margarita with salt.
Oh, really?
It's
I
not my
prefer
thing.
spicy
I don't know about that.
margaritas.
Yeah, so this
Really?
weekend we went to Bones in Cresta Butte. I don't know, I think it's famous there, but they did I think it's called the Scorpion or something like that, and it was a habanero one, and it was probably the spiciest one that I've ever had, and it was amazing. Like, I hate tequila, and I don't really like margaritas in general, but I couldn't even taste the tequila.
Really?
It still
Well-
tastes like strong, but
Yeah,
was
the
amazing.
point of a margarita is that it's not supposed to be like super tequila-y.
Mm-hmm.
Like you add the lime and the salt is really supposed to take over
Yeah, it cuts
the
out.
flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like every recipe also calls for like either like Contro. Contro is what I use because it's
I
kind of
do
like
too.
orangey. You know,
It's
it's
expensive.
it is, dude. It's
hella
ridiculously expensive.
I was surprised.
I was
Yeah.
at the liquor store and for like not a 750 ml bottle, but
Yeah, I
like
have one behind the bar. Right, that one right there. Or I guess you
is it to the left? Yeah, I can't see it. Regardless,
it's a small one.
what is
It's-
Contra?
you can't see
Contro's
'cause
like it's
so
just
small.
like an I think it's orange,
It's
right?
an orange
It's like
liqueur.
triple sec.
Yeah.
Basically. You
Yeah,
can make a
essentially.
margarita with triple sec too.
Oh, so you put that in a margarita?
Yeah, it's I think it's all equal parts. Lime juice, tequila, Contro, and what's the other
You
thing?
could do simple syrup sometimes. People will do that.
Yeah. but you shouldn't need it really if you
I think that's it.
yeah.
It's like triple sec or Contro.
Or no, you do two of tequila to one lime and Contro. That's what it is.
Yeah. Make sure you get all boozed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Two
Yeah, I
shots
drank a
of vodka.
lot of margaritas over the summer. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, I live in Florida, so
You
we
made
get
me
good
one when I
limes.
came down, and you seemed
Whipped up some margs.
Yeah, you were a professional bartender. at that
Nice.
time. You popping out some limes.
You know, we got to show
them
out
up.
when friends come to town.
I was
Yeah.
like,
No, I mean, it's nice.
It was
you know?
good. It was good margarita.
It's like anything else. Like, why do we make nice food? Why do we make nice drinks? Why do we do anything that's nice? It's because like life is suffering. The Buddhists had it right. You know.
Yeah.
Life is kind of fucking hard sometimes.
make
so
the most of it by making
ribs
authentic-
and margaritas and doing all of it as well as you can. You know, those are some of the only real comforts of life.
So we had to substitute on the ribs that we made the same day. We had to substitute apple juice because if you smoke ribs, it's a very key ingredient that you use apple juice or some kind of sweet apple
Well, you
cider
really
is
just
another
need a
one we could do.
liquid, something liquid that you can put in a container with the ribs. Like you make like a foil pack and you seal it real tight so that the whatever liquid is in there turns to steam and
Yep.
makes the meat moist.
Yeah.
Keeps the meat moist. You should say. Yeah, and I should have made it with apple juice. That's what the recipe calls for, is like a quarter cup of apple juice. But I didn't have any apple juice, and I wanted to make ribs, and I just forgot to buy it. But I did have Coors Light, and so we used Coors Light.
Steady
And I
supply.
swear to God, it was. You could kind of tell. You could tell there was like a beer flavor there, but it didn't ruin it.
good.
It wasn't bad at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
He took a shot of the gross, like under
I
jelly
forgot about
I
juices
think I saw a
that
video about that.
we unwrapped the ribs from being in the smoker from in the tinfoil.
so
And there's you have the ribs, and then you have just like everything that falls off the ribs and all the juices and the congealed fat and stuff.
Okay, so it's mostly water. Let's be clear about that. It's mostly water. But also, yes, rendered fat that was
Yeah.
hot enough to stay liquid, and
It
apple
looked-
juice.
It looked like something that happens after I eat a lot of Indian food.
But, and there is a but here. What happened after that, Chase? I said it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, you did.
And then I got Chase to take a shot of it too. And it was
told her-
actually not terrible, was it?
I took a sip. I didn't take a shot.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
It tasted like liquid barbecue
Yeah.
ribs.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are gross.
It was like a little
Surprise,
sweet,
surprise.
salty, obviously, porky.
Yeah.
It tasted like, like drinking.
The consistency was gross though.
Yeah, if you could,
Yeah.
if you could drink ribs, that's
Nobody wants to do.
Wouldn't want to.
no. Obviously, nobody wants to
Yeah.
because nobody sells that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to sell it.
Yeah.
I just tried it.
Not yet.
I stopped eating ribs
man.
after the morgue.
After the morgue?
Yeah.
He used to. So he interned at the morgue.
Oh, right.
In our hometown, and yeah, you probably saw a lot of stuff that turned you off.
Some nasty ribs.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, uncooked.
Oh, yeah, I fucking hope so.
Did you shoot the juice?
Lime.
Sorry. Let's go.
Had to touch them, hear it crack,
Oh
and
my
then go
God.
home and eat.
How
eat
long
something.
did you intern at the morgue for, and why?
I don't know. Oh, because I wanted to be a doctor, and it was just a good as for experience. You know,
I get
learn
that.
about. I mean, like, how many people can say they've seen like the inside of a recently dead body?
It's true.
Like, a lot of people see cadavers and stuff in
Right.
in class and lab and stuff like that, but to see that and a lot of like weird messed up shit, or like if someone was shot or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a really good experience to learn, to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I
and,
bet.
Morbid stuff.
so I
Yeah.
wanted to do that, and then I think it was like maybe a year, not like going all the time,
Mhm.
but every so often, whenever there was like a death, that was interesting.
So you would get to go with like the medical examiner that went to go pick up the body? Or?
So no, I didn't go to the scene ever.
Okay.
It was always just like they would call me. They're like, "Hey, we got a body." Sounds really weird.
it
Hey,
does.
we got a body, bro. Head down. We're
Bro,
gonna check this shit
yeah.
out.
Bro, we got a fresh one.
Yeah.
Still warm.
Yeah.
Slide through.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and then I would go.
What'd you
I'd
take
go
away?
in and help them. Some like usually it was mostly for learning, but sometimes I'd help like hold
Of course.
like the skin flap or
Nice.
Which skin flap?
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Any of them?
this one.
A, B, or C?
Yeah, but some nasty shit. There's some
I
nasty
bet.
stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the grossest or most morbid body that came through that you can recall?
The worst one was, I think it was some body parts that came from Miami. I think it was a gang related thing where they chopped this guy up and put his like legs and arms and stuff in some Tupperware, and then threw it like in some lakes out somewhere in Miami, and then they had gotten them and they were decomposed just enough where they had to like boil all of the skin and muscle and stuff off of the bones so that they could review the cuts and see what kind of saw like actually cut the bone, and then
Wow.
they could see like who bought that saw recently and
Right.
stuff like that. And that was disgusting because
Yeah.
like a leg that's decomposed, for instance, looks like mud.
Right.
Like all the skin and flesh, it just looks like mud, and it's
But
disgusting.
it's there and you have to get it off.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
You can't
like,
just like when you're eating barbecue and it's like almost off the bone, you just like
that's kind of like what it
You
was.
slide it
Yeah. So
off?
they took like little knives and they like would slice all the meat off, right? And it was like pretty nasty, gushy. And then
You
they
don't
would
say.
take it and then boil it.
How
after
did you
that.
wear nose plugs or anything, or were you like going in hardcore?
Yeah, it wasn't nose plugs. Like you always had a mask and
Yeah.
like either a face shield or goggles on. But it smelled fucking horrible.
Yeah, and God forbid any of it like splashes on your face. Oh,
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
That,
get
I
dead
just set
body
myself
on
on fire.
Dude, some people,
Yeah.
I heard some people will sniff ammonia or something.
Yeah, there's
to
different
help,
things you
like,
can do.
break the smell
Yeah.
up. Or,
It was always like if you hadn't eaten before, you could like start feeling kind of nauseous
Yeah.
and nasty and just go take a break. But for the most part, it wasn't too bad. I mean, most of the bodies get preserved. So as soon as they die, they'll stick them in the freezer.
Yeah.
So it's not horrible, but it still has like that nasty, like, you know, when you go into a hospital or like a dentist and there's always like that smell, you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like that, but like dead body.
Yeah, no thanks.
it's like formaldehyde. Is that what they use? Right?
Um,
Is that a
they use that. I don't know if they use that on the bodies. That's like what they use when you,
preserving for
Yeah.
caskets and
Yeah.
stuff? Okay,
yeah, right. Or
I'm
like
thinking
lab
something
rats
different.
and shit.
Yeah, when you see like in horror movies, when you see stuff preserved in jars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
see like
The dead baby in the jar.
Ugh. Yeah, yeah.
My science teacher had a dead baby in a jar
What?
in our classroom in high
What?
school. Yeah.
Wait, which one? We went to high school together.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
He's like, okay, now you fact check me.
you don't have to. You don't have to name them. We don't want
I
to
don't,
dox anybody.
I don't remember her name. It was a female.
Which one? Which science teacher? Like, which
Anatomy.
year? It was anatomy. I didn't have
Was it
anatomy.
like,
Anatomy.
was it her baby?
Okay, I hope not.
Yeah.
That's even weird.
What was
That's
it
dark.
for?
She had a bunch of different like specimens and things that were preserved in formaldehyde, and she kept it in like a locked cabinet. And she once took out a baby, like an unborn baby. It was like I guess like a fetus that was pretty far along.
I should find one so that I can pull that out because in my line of teaching, it wouldn't make any sense.
No, it wouldn't. That'd be super random.
That'd be like a good like trump card, you know? Like, like if anything is happening in the room, I can just immediately dispel
Guess
it by
what?
pulling out my baby
Exactly.
in the jar.
baby.
Guess where I got this baby, kids?
Yeah.
I feel like that has to be illegal, right? Like, can you just have
I
a
don't
baby
know.
in a jar?
I think it's kind of a sketchy thing to have nowadays.
Maybe
Yeah.
you have to have like paperwork for it. You got it's like having a gun. You got to get it registered.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure if that would fly nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe she did have paperwork. I just got somebody fired, probably. Everybody's gonna be checking cabinets. Now, only 3 people listen to this. Will
No.
do anything.
Yeah.
By the time this one comes out,
By the time this one comes
It's gonna
out,
be a
since-
worldwide
if we do a little bit of marketing to say that you're coming on, maybe that.
no,
might
you know
work.
what? You should get you know who you need to get on this podcast?
Ooh.
The girl that just got out of Call Her Daddy. The girl
Oh.
that dipped, the girl that caused all the drama, the one that's not around anymore. You know that
The
podcast?
podcast, yeah.
Yeah, it was-
I've never listened to it, but I know of it. Yeah.
You're not wasting any time of your fucking
I know it's
life at
very
all.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, it's popular. Again, remember what I said about like the average person?
Yeah.
And how dumb that means 50% of all people are? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. There's a market for everybody. Anyways.
Hey, there's market for this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah,
Dumb
right?
people.
Seriously. Cheers.
wonderful.
Yeah. So let's get into nice little segue, or I guess we could talk about what do we want to talk about first? Maybe
What are your burning desires? I mean, questions.
Oh, I was thinking, so first, I was thinking we could talk about like size
Size.
Yeah.
of your feet.
Stop me when
Keep going.
Oh my god.
Keep going.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh,
Ron,
shit.
Ron Jeremy who?
No.
At a certain point, it becomes. At a certain point, like after about here, you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm really.
Oh, what?
How, dude? How do you fly with that? No,
Ah,
No.
roll it up.
no. It's actually funny. Like I had a. I still don't know whether this is a compliment or not. I genuinely don't understand if it's a compliment. I remember. Well, I don't remember. I was told that one time at a party, I like burst into my bathroom. It was at our house, and I walk into the bathroom, and my buddy and his girlfriend were in there.
Uh-oh.
And I was just like drunk, and I was like, "Hey, I gotta pee," and they're like, "Okay," and I was like, "Okay." I mean, like, you know, I'm tall, so like, gravity's rough on my knees, and I'll use every chance I get to sit. So like, I'm a proud sit peer.
Oh, me too.
You are,
It's so
I
much
am-
more
yeah.
comfortable.
brother. Hold me.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're
you
not
guys are
alone.
not alone.
I feel
You're not
like
alone.
I'm peeing right now.
Just because you're sitting.
Anytime
Wait
I
a minute.
sit.
I think we have different prerogatives
Oh.
here. Wait,
You
I
meant
just
on
mean
the toilet?
Yeah, I'm only on the
Oh,
toilet.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Oh, you don't sit on the
Thanks,
urinal?
Miles. No. So yeah, so I just like drop trowel and sit down on the toilet.
yeah.
And I was just in there like literally minding my own business. Apparently, like Mike and Sarah. That's not revealing enough to offend either of them. They'd be happy to recount this story, I'm sure. Sarah was like doing something, like fixing her makeup or I don't know, what the fuck do girls do in the bathroom?
Powder their...
So powdering her nose. Yeah, there you go. She was powdering her nose. And I was like just sitting on the toilet minding my own business, like completely unaware or uninterested in the fact that they were there. And Mike was like, I'm going to turn around. And Sarah's like, what? And he was like, I'm going to do it. He was probably drunk too. And he like turns around and apparently he looks and his response to Sarah was, it's about what you'd expect. So I don't know, like...
yeah, it's kind of hard to...
It could have looked unflattering and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I
Men
guess
and their penises
depends
are
what
so...
he thinks about you.
I think Scott thinks about this every single day when he wakes up.
It's a first thought.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
it's about what you think it is.
Yeah. And that's it. No more, no less.
Yeah.
Yo,
I was proud of what you have, Scott.
So I was coming home today,
Yeah.
and we talked about this like a couple podcasts ago. We talked about this like Trump rally-ish kind of thing we saw on the highway. I was coming home today, and kind of in the same area where they were. So last time they were on the highway, but over by like Highlands, there were a bunch of people out there, like just doing their thing. Like it wasn't as many cars. There were a couple cars, but it was mostly just people waving flags, doing whatever, you know, just like doing their thing. And I was like, damn, like this, they must do this every weekend because they were just there last weekend, the weekend before, and we had just gotten Smoothie King, and I was like, oh, I should throw my smoothie out at one of them. But then I was like, then I wouldn't have a smoothie. Thanks, Trump.
We should bring that back. You remember how big "Thanks Obama" was?
Thanks, Obama.
I
still say that.
We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
You know what else we need? We need to make fun of all of our politicians. Why aren't we making fun of everybody?
Oh, we do.
The thing
We
is,
do.
Well, we as a country are not as much. I
Yeah,
think.
right. The we is...
you have
You and
to
I are,
you have to
but-
say something that Trump did, and then you say thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
You
go.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for building a wall that you actually didn't build.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
The wall thing is so silly too. Like,
Yeah.
like you remember talking to people like and hearing them talk about build the wall, and like if with any common sense you look at that statement, you look at that ideal, and you go, oh, that's not happening. Like anybody with half a mind went, oh, we're not actually going to spend billions of dollars building a wall with Mexico.
Yeah, because Mexico's going to pay for it.
yeah,
Obviously.
No. Trump just is an off the cuff guy. It's like your impression. Like he just rambles, and then every now and then he realizes he gauges the audience reaction very well.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, that worked. I'm going to linger on this for a bit.
Yeah,
and I'm going to expand upon it. So he said something about he probably just one time at a rally, but it was you could probably find genesis of the wall thing. He was like, you know, probably on his speed in his brain, his inner monologue was like, all right, let's get the people ramped up. Let's get them going. Let's get these kids going.
Yeah.
We're going to build a wall with Mexico.
Yeah. They were, yeah.
And
so
it just escalated from there.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
there's a formula to how he like talks and his conversation carries on. You know, it's like he'll say something and then say it slowly right after he makes a point. Be
For
like,
emphasis.
I think we need, in order to curb all the Mexicans coming in, we need to make a wall. Make a wall.
And the crowd goes, oh,
Yeah.
I'm vindicated.
To make a wall thing's a good idea.
Get those Hondurans and Cubans back to Mexico.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't know the difference.
You guys are insulated.
Yeah,
I tell you
on the
what. I mean, there's a Mexican population in Colorado. I know that that's where all the food comes from, but like, you guys are insulated here. It's so funny how like where you are in the world dictates the type of person that's around you.
Yeah.
You know, like Florida is a completely different makeup of people than
There's
you
so
guys
many
have.
different types of people in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, we know we grew up in the same
Yeah,
place. so like,
there's your old person from New York,
or
Everybody-
the Northeast in general.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you have your Florida man, who is born and raised.
Well, I was born in Virginia, so but
You call yourself a Florida man?
I'm a Florida man.
Do you follow Florida man on Reddit?
Hell yeah, dude! I have a Florida man T-shirt.
Is
Nice.
one of your
Two Florida man
goals-
T-shirts. I'm sorry.
Are one of your goals to become like full on Florida man?
Listen, I already have the pedigree. I have a resume of
Yeah.
being a Florida man. Did you know that when I was in middle school, I caught an alligator, like using a piece of chicken and rope?
Nice.
No, you didn't.
I swear to God, I was at.
believe
You
it.
got to find my Boy Scout troop. You got to find the guys that were in my Boy Scout troop
Wow,
with
Boy
me.
Scout troops,
Oh.
right?
Wait,
Ouch.
hold on.
Yeah, actually.
we just opened up a whole.
How'd
Yeah,
that
that's
go?
a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Did you
Boy
get
Scouts
touched?
is weird now.
Are you?
Did you get touched?
Yeah. Did you get touched?
No,
is that why you're so
okay.
weird?
I
What?
had the most. I had a very. The kind of experience I had in Boy Scouts was what I think Boy Scouts was really trying to get kids to have. I didn't have a weird experience. I had Scoutmasters. My dad was actively involved. My dad was there at all times. Nothing weird ever happened. Like the weird shit that happened was stuff that we did to each other
Yeah.
that the parents weren't even aware of.
But
You know, but nothing bad, like nothing scary, nothing weird. Like it was just like dumb boys
Yeah.
doing dumb boy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's really all it was.
Quintessential.
Yeah, nobody got
boy
hurt.
Yeah.
Stuff.
But
Not
do you
bad
ever
anyways.
feel like there was something wrong with you because you didn't get touched? You know, like they didn't.
I did
want?
feel a little less loved for a
Yeah.
long time.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I chosen?
Played into my daddy issues real well. Am I not
Alright.
pretty enough?
Maybe we should
Is
talk
my
about something
butt
else.
not big enough?
How
for
many?
the- That's
How many
dark.
badges did you earn?
I don't know, man. A
I
lot.
want you to recall
but-
all single. 2.
What?
You only got 2 badges.
Yeah. No. No. I mean, there's badges for all sorts of stuff, and you can
Yeah.
get like
Getting touched.
some of them. No.
Sorry.
How many times do I have to tell
Oh
you?
my god.
I know you're jealous,
not
but we
about
didn't
that.
touch each other. No, I mean you can get merit badges and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts was great. Look, I learned how to handle a knife properly, and I learned how to shoot a gun properly, and I know how to make a shelter if I am, God forbid, in some situation where I'm like in a tough spot. Like I know how to get warm. I know how to make a
Build a
fire.
fire, yeah.
Yeah, I know like how to tie knots.
Yeah.
Just as
Bury
like
a dead
a
body.
competent human, you know. Like now that we're adults and like. You know, we bought houses. Like Miles, you'll know as soon as you buy a house. Like I'm sure you've seen it from him plenty. But like as soon as you buy a house, you just all of a sudden are always doing shit. You're
Yeah.
always doing projects.
You
And-
know, if the guys that put those body parts in the Tupperware went to Boy Scouts, they would have learned that plastic fucking floats.
yeah,
Fucking idiots.
yeah.
Maybe they would never gotten caught and never
True.
had that
Or
experience.
if you just watch YouTube enough, I feel like I've come across like the ways to like get rid of a body.
Well, the thing is, I think when you
FBI.
are in
door.
in a drug gang, you probably don't really give a shit,
No,
right?
Well, yeah,
it's probably
and
more
also-
of a statement. You were like, yeah, we fucking cut up this guy.
Yeah, what are you
Threw him
gonna
in
do
the-
about it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tupperware stock just took
No,
a dip.
no.
yeah, I did.
Nah, you gotta
Yeah.
feed them to pigs. You gotta find somebody with pigs because
Exactly.
pigs eat anything.
Yeah,
If you want to get rid of a dead body, I'm not the source of this information, internet. I learned this. I'm just repeating
YouTube's
stuff
like,
that
hold on. You might be
my
violating.
FBI
our
agent
Yeah.
just perked up. The FBI agent that's listening to my cell phone at all times.
Yeah.
My guy at NSA.
in the camera,
Yeah,
he's
your
like,
guy.
Yeah. My guy.
my rep.
There's so many of those memes like of like people talking about like weird messed up stuff, and then like the reaction of the FBI agent like, oh god, not again.
Yeah.
Like dudes who are into feet getting their phones tapped, you know, listening to them like these sad lonely guys talk to mistresses on the phone. Is that still a thing? Can you still do that?
Yeah, you
don't
can. And yeah, you can.
How do you know?
I
Silicon
remember
family.
seeing the commercials on TV. Like if
Yeah.
you watch late at night,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
would always be that.
MTV.
Yeah.
I
Late
haven't-
night MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then now you have cam girls. That's
Yeah,
the different
exactly.
thing, right?
Yeah,
you
and
just- instead of calling, you can actually see them and talk to them.
Yeah, and
I
there's-
don't know what you're still doing on the goddamn phone.
Well, some people, it's like nostalgia. You know, like you
Maybe.
don't want to see it. You just want to hear about it.
Ooh,
Well,
it makes
because the imagination thing. Yeah, there's a
runs.
whole. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a there's something to
Soon
be
as
said.
you
Sounds
see
like
it-
Scott has some experience in
Yeah.
some of this.
Bro,
do
we all have imaginations.
Are you?
Am I
you
what?
the guy that I talked to?
Wait, should we do cam girl research? Real quick?
Ooh.
Sure. On what?
I mean, we're
Do you have
talking
a-
about it, so like I figured I should look it up.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Miles-
you were very vague with that question. I was like, do you just want to watch porn together? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Miles doesn't actually want to research anything. He just wanted to pull up some cam girls.
I see. You wanted to show off like who you pay every month.
Yeah.
So speaking of cam girls, you teach
Uh-oh.
band to little kids.
What an intro.
This took a
Well,
dark
it's
turn.
kind of the same thing now because
Yeah.
you're doing a little bit of virtual.
Oh,
That's. You know what? I thought you were an idiot when you started talking, and I didn't foresee that you could actually have
Yeah.
a really good joke in there. That was good.
Wow.
I was
Cheers-
about to resign.
Cheers to that.
Did I
That was
earn
good.
some respect? The little that I have.
Yeah, I spend 7.5 hours a day on camera.
really?
Wow.
Oh,
I
you-
do.
You're not doing any in class?
No, I do. That's just not the only thing I do because So my county, my district, offers face-to-face instruction if you would like to go back. I teach in a pretty conservative area. You know, Florida in general is conservative. I live in a hotbed of the opposite direction, but the area where I teach is a very conservative area. It's much like the area where we grew up. You know, people with space, people that like their goddamn peace and quiet, people that have problems living super close to other people. Is a lot of where my demographic sits. So there are a lot of families. Like, we had a shockingly high number of kids that wanted to come back face to face, more than we expected. Though for my classes, it's not been much. Like, I have one class with 2 kids in it and 18 online. 2 are in person, but 18 online.
So you go in.
So yeah, I have to.
And
so,
you do online and in person at the same time.
So the way my day is set up, like, I still teach my standard 6 periods out of 7 in the day. You know, we get a planning period and we get a lunch break, but you have a 7-period day. So I teach all my 6 courses just like normal, but while I teach them to the kids in class, the idea is you should be able to teach the kids in class, use the live stream camera and audio equipment to broadcast online. We have our own. It's interesting. You would appreciate it. The software we use for video conferencing is not Zoom, it's not Skype, it's this openware based platform, which, as soon as I heard, like, when I first heard about it last year in March when everything shut down, I was like, oh good, we're using openware. We're using an openware video conferencing. Right. Great, this is going to go so well. And of course, it's riddled with errors. Every single day, there's kids that their webcam just won't turn on, or their audio just won't turn on. Yeah, then there's that.
Turn on.
There's some kids, you know, I'm fortunate. I have students where, like, even though they are middle school shitheads, I trust them. Like, if they say they have a problem, like, you know, you can tell. Because, like, some of your kids, when they come to school every day, they do their thing, and they're there every day like they're supposed to. And then once in a while, they're not. But then they email you and they go, hey, I'm sorry, I was trying to get on. I was trying to log on, but my internet's down, or
you don't
my
got,
power
you
went
guys
out.
don't have, like,
or,
a Slack channel or anything like that for the kids?
Honestly, honest to God, I've thought perhaps one of the better options was a Discord server for stuff, because Discord is a pretty reliable platform at this point. All the kids know how to use it. Like,
it's reliable now until every fucking school in the nation uses it and then
I'm
crashes.
gonna try and get in before that, but no, I mean, like, so my thing is too. I'm also teachers are all across the board. No matter what you teach, teachers are all run completely dry by now already. I mean, or at least at the very least, all the teachers that I talk to, we're so out of energy all the time. We don't have the energy to reinvent the wheel every day to accommodate every situation that arises.
And
we are all
you're
trying.
not getting paid anymore.
What's that?
So you're not getting paid anymore.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid any more than I did last year. I mean, I am very marginally because of
it wasn't because of COVID,
contractual.
though.
No, it's just because of the contractual guaranteed pay increases.
Yeah.
It's not much, but you get more every year that you
Sure.
teach. That's the way pay structure is set up. So, but yeah, we're not getting hazard pay for dealing with COVID. We're not getting supplemental pay for having to put up with all the extra planning that it takes to deal with 2 sets of kids in every class. You know, we're not getting more for that. Granted, there's also less on our plate in some aspects. We're still getting rated. You know, we have a judgment system in the state of Florida. We all get rated as teachers. Relatively.
Sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
Because I didn't want to get too far down.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that are now more or less off your plate?
Some things are off my plate. So, you know, because I teach music, so I teach band, chorus, and orchestra. We can't have concerts yet because of we technically we are allowed. Yes, I can't have concerts because of the numbers of kids that are in school versus not in school.
Okay,
you know, there's a big difference between. You'll know there's a massive difference as a musician between playing solo versus playing in an ensemble. You know, playing in a band, you have to worry about every other member of that band, you know.
Timing.
If it's like your stereotypical rock band, you the guitar player's got to know what the drummer and the bass and the piano and the singer and whatever you have, you got to know what they're all doing. And it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, but on a more complex level because there's more instruments, there's more different voices going on at the same time. So there's no way to teach that as of yet. A lot of what you teach, especially at the older levels, so I teach brand new kids, and then I also teach the later years of like their extension of their knowledge, and the pedagogy is the word we use, the extension of their pedagogy, like what they know about performing on their instrument. And that changes, it's about what you do on your instrument, but it's more so, honestly, at a certain point, it's more so about what the whole group is doing.
Okay.
If you're not all on the same page, there's a lot of knowledge and skill to be learned and practiced,
Right.
as far as doing that job.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of like learning how to march in a marching band, right?
Yeah,
In
it's the same
way.
kind of thing.
It's like
Yeah.
the synchronicity of marching in form,
Mhm.
same beat to the same beat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's just it's all of those same kinds of skills, just while you're sitting in a chair on a stage, for instance. So it's the same part of your brain. It's the same activity mentally. It's just different physically. So yeah, so without the ability to all sit in the same room and do the same thing at the same time, you can't teach that. Like there's no way. That's just not possible with our current technological limitations. Never mind the fact that every kid is attending school on a county distributed laptop, which are all these like HP. They're laptops. They're like. You remember the small MacBook Air? Was that like an 11-inch or something like that, or like a 10-inch screen?
I think
Less than 13.
Yeah.
It's definitely
less. Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
think Sarah has it.
Okay.
that's the standard issue size laptop that they all get. But it it folds backwards and it can be a tablet, and it's got a tiny little built-in microphone. Just like pretty much any laptop has.
How much do you think these things cost?
I did the math on some of this stuff because the laptops. I don't know. I could find out.
And they didn't have these like available pre-COVID.
No, we did actually. So
You did? Okay.
Yeah, so yes and no. Every secondary student in my district had one previously. So every middle school student and every high school student in the county all had one of these laptops.
Did they
Okay.
take home?
Yeah,
Every day?
and they could take them home.
Oh, wow.
They were checked out. So they were checked out like a library book. It was literally
I
even
see.
the same system, like the same program. You can check out a book or you can check out a laptop. And they would check out these laptops. And, if you lost your charger, there was a flat rate that you had to pay to replace your charger. And it was cheaper than buying one on your own. Or you could just go buy your own.
Because I'm sure, like, if it's HP or Dell or whatever, that the school
Yeah.
district had a contract with
For
them
sure.
to get discounted
Yeah.
accessories and etc.
Plus
Yeah,
a-
because they're buying it bulk.
Yeah,
In a computer like that, can't imagine it would cost too much. Maybe like $300 or $400.
yeah. At the very
Yeah,
most,
and I think because of the massive scale that they were buying these devices at,
millions.
I mean, you're
Millions.
talking about
Yeah.
Of computers.
Yeah.
these millions of dollars,
Right.
for
Well,
sure.
millions of
That's
computers,
what I
too.
did. I did the math on the camera. So I found the camera that they give every classroom. It's like a document camera, because
Yeah.
you remember the overhead projectors. So those are of the past now. Those don't exist anymore, at least in my
Aw,
district.
man.
But we have document cameras now. So it's a camera attached to. It's got a little base and it's got like this bendy arm, just like this microphone shield. And you bend it and you can put it over a piece of paper. You can zoom, you can focus. It has a light, So it's really nice, actually. Turns out those cameras actually work as a webcam. It's super easy because they have a telephoto lens. Is that the word? Telephoto?
Yeah.
Is that
It's like-
telescoping.
yeah, I guess
It can zoom.
Yeah, it's an optical.
That's all it
lens.
is.
Yeah,
It can zoom.
It's not like a digital zoom where you lose quality.
No,
when
it's
you
a physical zoom.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So it is actually it's decent, and so that's why when people say like how's teaching going in COVID, this year's actually better than I expected. Because of the resources and stuff. So you have the ability to webcam broadcast all of your classes, and then you have to rely on the students to hope that they actually want to turn their cameras on and be there. Attendance is taken based on whether or not I can see you. If I can't see you, you're not there. Unless I know you have an issue. But like we have, like you can submit a tech request. You can submit a ticket, like a tech ticket
help desk
to the
Yeah.
IT person at our school.
Yeah.
We have an IT person that works full time. She already worked there full time
Yep.
at my school. And every school now has one. So you submit a tech request to them. They're supposed to deal with it. So But it's, like if a kid's at home, if they don't have a ride to school during the school day, there's lots of kids. I have lots of kids who are at home by themselves or at a grandparent's house or, dude, I swear to God, the first week of school, I had a girl that was she was in my class while she was sitting at a McDonald's. And it wasn't like, at first I was kind of like, oh, that's so sad. Like,
She has to
you have to go to McDonald's to get Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remembered who it was, and I was like, wait a minute. I know what your parents do. Like, you're fine. You have internet at home.
Yeah.
Why are you at McDonald's right now? And then
Yeah.
it was a whole other thing.
I used to go to McDonald's because it was next door to my dorm in college, and I used to go because when you illegally downloaded music or whatever, back in the
Did you
days.
illegally download music and
I'm not
TV
saying I
shows?
did, but maybe I had a roommate that did that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
I
So you
remember
went
that
with him?
roommate.
McDonald's had Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to go over there and hook up to the Wi-Fi,
Of course.
so he
Nice.
couldn't get caught on school grounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just thought of that as soon as you said that. So it sounds like every teacher is now more qualified to be like they have their own talk show, maybe.
I thought you were going to bring it back to being a cam girl.
thing.
I swear, I thought you were
Cam
going to be
boy?
like, I feel like every teacher should be a cam girl now.
Yep. I mean, you could.
I mean, I am, in a way, I am now accustomed to speaking to a bunch of people who I am pretty sure are there, even though I can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You're like Ellen now, or you're more qualified than Ellen. Yeah.
Ouch.
You could replace
Burn.
Ellen.
I could be the next Ellen. I could be a short, small, peppy lesbian.
Yep.
What's holding me back? It's America. I'm a
Nothing.
white man. There's
Yeah.
nothing I can't do.
Exactly. Yeah. You're already set for success, in my opinion.
I think that's one thing I'm not allowed to do. I can't be Ellen.
You can't.
Nor do I
No.
want to be.
No.
I like my goddamn peace and quiet.
Yeah. It's
I
too
like
much
my
limelight.
privacy. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like people being up in my business.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Think-
get that.
We're talking about putting a fence in, in the backyard. But like, I'm as interested in a fence for the privacy aspect as I am for the fact that we no longer have to take the dog out to go get her to poop. We can just let her out in the backyard instead.
Mhm.
That would be really nice,
Mm-hmm.
rather than having to like put the leash on and like put shoes on and then go out and take her out and then pick up the poop. I can just let her out the door and be like, all right, have fun. See you later.
Have you ever had any, going back to the webcam thing, have you ever had any kids like think they're on mute, but they aren't, and make some
Dude.
embarrassing
Like
moments?
2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I had this kid. He was like talking to me about something. It was in one of my classes, and he was like talking to me about something. And then like I wrapped up with him, and I was moving on to the next student, and then he forgot to mute himself.
Uh-oh.
And then his mom just started yelling at him about something.
Oh man.
And he
Come on,
is
Mom.
he's Jamaican. And I don't know if you know anything about Jamaican people, but they are fiery.
Yeah.
And like his family is actually very successful. He comes from a family that has a lot of wealth.
Okay.
This is not like some like crime of poverty. They are very well off, and she was laying into him. And we couldn't really understand most of it because I don't know what language it would have been in, but it was either very distorted English or
Jamaican is that a language?
I don't know.
Can you look that shit up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna find
regardless, my point being mostly, just to bring it back to how shitty the laptops are, the microphone was being overblown. It was way overpowered because she was yelling at him so loud. So we just hear this yelling, and we see him like kind of like looking off camera and like getting really like, he was just
No.
like
Yeah, he's like, oh goddamn.
like so bummed.
Yeah.
And then like I had to be like, Gabe,
Anyway.
hey man, hey, like trying to interrupt and find a moment of silence and be like, mute your microphone. Please mute your
can you
microphone
mute-
because I can't.
You can't.
The program like sometimes will, but sometimes just doesn't. So it's not reliable. And I was
Oh,
trying
shit.
to,
It doesn't have a texting. It doesn't have a chat section.
It does.
Of it?
It does.
All right.
which is the absolute worst.
Is it?
Yeah, because then like you're dealing with a bunch of children and okay, so I feel like I'm a very understanding teacher. Like I remember what it was like to be a middle schooler, and I was actually like I wasn't a shitty kid. I wasn't a bad kid. Like
Yeah.
I knew plenty of other kids who were also not bad kids. And left to our own devices, never got in any real trouble. We had fun. We were polite and respectful to people still, and we didn't really majorly do anything wrong. we made mistakes, but like we weren't breaking the law. We weren't doing anything radical.
You weren't getting suspended.
Yeah, no, I was never getting. I was a gifted student. I went to a different middle school just for the sake of like
Nerd.
Yeah, being in smarty pants classes. Yeah, it honestly kind of a pain in the butt because they put us on the short bus. Yeah, and imagine having to go to middle school
because you're tall as
I know,
tall
right?
shit.
And roll up on the short bus.
Yeah, your nickname in my phone is tall shit. Yeah.
Good to know that my identity is completely tied to something that I didn't choose or earn or work towards.
Welcome to America,
Yep.
bitch.
This is America. You're gonna be judged on things you have no control over. Have fun. Yeah.
Miles, what you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that so this is from Wikipedia, so it's definitely right. But the official language is English, which is pretty interesting. Maybe because it was colonized.
Yeah,
Must be.
yeah.
Probably, yeah. And then the national language, which I'm not really sure what the difference is, but it's Jamaican Patois.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know how to pronounce it. But
Perhaps I don't know anything about the history of Jamaica. Maybe that was like a
it could be a mix
could be.
of something,
Yeah.
Yeah, it could. What is okay? So people who live in Haiti, do they speak Haitian?
Haitian, yeah,
It's
or
Haitian.
Creole.
Creole?
Creole.
Oh, it's Creole.
Yeah,
So
it's Creole.
maybe Jamaica. I'm not. This is me
Jamaican?
just being an idiot. Maybe it's like a offshoot of
Could be.
Creole or something like that. I don't know.
Could be.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Now
when
you
you
have to look that up.
when you remember like how many places in the world were colonized and or just ruled by Britain at one point or another, like India, Indian English is a British accent,
Yeah.
because they still have that colonial air.
We were just talking about. I mean, this tomorrow is Columbus Day, or as it's more modernly known as Indigenous People Day, and more rightfully so because I think it's widely accepted that Columbus was a fucking asshole.
Kind of a terrible guy.
What were you saying earlier
Yeah, so
about it?
So I read this book. It was called Civilized to Death by this guy, Dr. Chris Ryan, of course, because I'm a Rogan bro. I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, like
Welcome,
every
this is
other
not
fucking white
dairy.
male in his 20s. I'm just another one. But
You piece of shit.
so Chris Ryan and him are homies, and Chris Ryan is a really interesting guy. He has a cool podcast called Tangentially Speaking. Chris, hit me up. I'd love to be
Retweet
on.
us, please.
I don't have a story worthy being on your show, but it would be cool.
Hit us up at the Lucky Duck.
Yep, at the Lucky Duck. You guys could get him.
at the
So this guy he's a social psychologist. He wrote one other book that I read called Sex at Dawn, which was
heard of that one.
pretty big. Yeah, pretty big. And then he wrote this book, Civilized to Death, which is like the thesis of that is like an offshoot from Sex at Dawn. But it's all about how the notion of civilization has not really actually made us better, us as being humans. It has not really benefited the human race being civilized, which is why the book is called Civilized to Death, basically saying that we've come too far. We could probably find a better happy medium somewhere in our ritual past, hunter-gatherer tribes, pre-agricultural societies sort of thing.
Don't they say about? Don't they? And sorry to interrupt, but
good.
don't they say like cultures or communities thrive in like around 100 people?
Yeah, that's called darn it, somebody's number. It's named after the guy that figured it out. Not Avogadro's number. That's a math thing. Avogadro.
Yeah. So essentially, what they're
Anyways.
saying is a healthy community consists of about around 100 people.
100 to 150 people.
Yeah,
is the number.
150 people.
And that's basically because, so for a small portion of human existence, like really the last 12 to 14,000 years, seems like a long time, yes, but on a biological evolutionary perspective, that's a very short amount of time because humans have been alive for, human proper, Homo sapiens has been around for like a couple 100,000, coming up on 1 million. I don't know what the number is because I don't have a degree in anthropology. I had to take one class in it. So anyways,
Shit.
but it's a long time. For a very short amount of time, we've been non-tribal, but for a very long time, we were very tribal. So we have a lot of these tendencies that lend us to a different kind of life than we currently have. One of which being this like notion of living in smaller groups and moving around more often. And so that's where that number comes from. And when, to take it back to Columbus, because tomorrow's Columbus Day.
It's Dunbar's number, by the way.
Dunbar's number, yes, Dunbar. So when Columbus first hit land over here, obviously, we all know he thought he was in India, called them Indians, yada, yada, yada.
Idiot.
Yeah, but he stayed, and eventually I guess he did realize before he went back to Portugal, I think he was Spanish, but he was sailing under the Portuguese flag.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet.
Was it not Italian? I don't.
No, I thought he was Spanish.
No, Columbus is
No, he
Italian,
was Spanish, right?
But
Oh,
he
okay.
was working for the Spanish, I believe.
Oh, he was. Okay, regardless
We're
of who
gonna
it was.
find this out
Somebody
real
on the
quick. Miles is on
Spanish
fire.
Peninsula, Portugal, Spain, whatever.
Yeah, one of the
Those
dominant
fancy
countries
French
back
Europeans,
in the day.
yeah. Exactly. So he gets over here and he sees these people for a while, studies them a little bit, and then he's getting ready to head home. And at some point, he had journaled his account of it. And in his account, he said, these people show great mercy and passion for one another, and they are very,
Gentile.
very Gentile and very, very loving, and their community was based around relationships with one another, and there was no disagreement. They shared everything. Kind of painted this like wonderful picture, and then he wraps it up by saying, "I think it would take about a month for us to enslave all of them."
Yeah.
That was Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Because that's part of why he went over there. Like he wasn't going over there to like make friends. You're like, "Hi guys,
History is dark.
do you want to hang out with me?"
Yeah.
Like,
want to be friends?
yeah, he was flying for the sake of like economic prosperity.
Yes.
He was sailing.
Yes.
Did I say flying?
No, you said
He got
fine,
on
I
his
think.
747 and he flew over 1790,
in his little
1492.
50-person commuter jet
Yeah, right,
across
exactly.
the transatlantic flight.
I feel like a terrible podcast guest, but I have to pee.
Oh,
Okay.
that's-
No, go ahead.
That's perfect.
Mostly because I
every good
enjoyed how much
podcast-
you guys suffered and struggled for a minute. When the guest left, you were like, "Oh my god, what do we do now?"
Yeah.
And I want to see you do it again.
This gets really awkward.
Oh,
So
God.
for those of you listening,
We apologize
or
for the next
watching.
minute and a half.
Yeah, you might want to just skip ahead.
Yeah.
Minute. And a
I just
half.
have to say, he has the tightest shorts on.
I know.
It's
I think we need to get a shot of that when he comes
Really,
back.
really hard not to get aroused by that. I think
Some would say.
some would say,
Yeah.
yeah. So Columbus.
Yeah. So actually, you were right. He's Italian, and he was sponsored by the monarchs of Spain, the Catholic monarchs of Spain.
Yep.
Which it probably makes it worse, but
Yeah, the only reason why I know he's Italian is because on the show The Sopranos, there is a episode where where the mafia characters are refuting a local tribe that is trying to fight the local parade that occurs in New Jersey. And so they're like really upset that the fact that some of the indigenous tribes are saying like this is wrong, and they're like, he's Italian, this isn't part of our heritage, like, and so they get
Right.
like very upset, and they end up like intimidating them and like doing all these things to try to come to some kind of agreement where they can still have like the normal
parade.
celebration. Obviously it's no we have written historical documents that are documented that show how much of a piece of shit. Well, according to today's standards.
well,
back
yeah,
in the
isn't
day, it was a
isn't
little
that crazy?
different,
Because when we grew up, I like what I learned about Christopher Columbus was that like he is our fucking savior. Like he came to America.
He is the pioneer
he-
of America.
We can thank him for everything we have.
including iPhones and
Yeah,
jets.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jets.
Thanksgiving, anyone?
Yeah. yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Come to
The
find
lies
out,
that we were
he's
sold.
actually a terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another one of
Allegedly.
growing up, you just get told all this stuff and you just to believe it. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because everybody's trustworthy.
So probably
And-
he like there were just a lot of people who didn't like him, right? And so they wrote all these bad things about him.
I guess.
Well,
Fake news.
the fake news.
Fake news.
It's weird. The acronym for fake news also is the acronym for Fox News. Did you know that? Miles pointed it out to me the other day.
Are you trying to start a race war? Is that your goal here? Are you trying to set the world more on fire?
Maybe.
Actually, I have some pretty interesting information to share. So you were right. Jamaica is like it's Jamaican Creole, I think. Is
Okay.
what it's called.
Okay.
Like it's also known as that, like the other word that I couldn't pronounce.
Okay.
And it's actually a version of English Creole, which lost my tab. So English Creole is like a Creole language where English was the lexifier. Whatever
Was
that
the
means.
what?
The lexifier.
Does that mean that it's like a
So lex being the root of lexicon.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Lex. Okay.
So then I was interested in what Creole language means, and it says that it's a stable, natural language that develops from the simplifying and mixing of different languages into a new one within a fairly brief period of time. So it's not like a language,
So Creole by itself is more of a term, like an
Right.
adjective than a noun.
right?
Yeah.
So I guess like if you like going back to Haiti,
Mm-hmm.
they probably have a language that we don't know the name of. Maybe it's called Haitian Creole.
Right.
Could be that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like Creole, I guess isn't like if you speak
So-
Creole, it doesn't mean you speak the same.
Because Creole is actually French in like its
Right.
heritage. Because Creole is French mixed with something.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was. I think it was
That
like
explains a lot.
heavily influenced by
Yeah.
the French colonizing some
Right.
parts of the Caribbean,
Haiti
Yeah.
and
Caribbean, whatever.
Yeah.
Asshole.
So it says a lot of
doesn't
the
pronounce it that way.
there's 100 Creole languages, and a lot of them were based off of English and French
Yeah.
interesting.
due to
very
the
cool.
It's
European
kind of
age of discovery.
It's an interesting, like
and slave
it's
trade.
an interesting language. Like to hear them talk, it's like almost intimidating.
French is nice. It is interesting. Creole can be intimidating.
Yeah.
Because it combines this like nice like French, like French is
Eloquent.
always like characterized as being like sexy and like smooth.
And also when you
Sweet.
speak French, it's almost like a song or a poem.
Well,
Like, it comes
okay.
off that way. Yeah.
So you want to know something interesting? Singers love singing in French. So if you think about it, singing there are only certain letters of the alphabet and sounds that you can sing, right? You can't sing the letter T. You can't sing the letter F. You can only sing, mostly you can only sing the 5 vowels.
The vowels, yeah.
So that as a singer, as a vocalist, that's where you get the most freedom to actually sing. You sing the word, take the word sing, S-I-N-G. 3 of the 4 letters are not singable. Sing, like
Yeah.
S-N-G are not singable. You sing the I.
Yeah.
You put the S and the NG at the end. With French, so much of the French language is vowels and vowel sounds. You get a lot of freedom to actually sing. Whereas with the enunciation, like what do they call it? The IPA. IPA is like International Phonetic Alphabet. I think that's what it stands for, something like that.
Okay.
Something with phonics.
I just thought it was Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. So in beer world, IPA is Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah. No,
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, like singers when they're in college take a course. They spend one semester just in a class, maybe even 2 for some of them on IPA, and it's called IPA, and it's learning all of the international pronunciations of different words because there are lots of sounds in the English. To throw back a word that we just used, the English lexicon. I know, right? That's a great word, lexicon.
I love that.
Yeah,
It reminds me of what's the Tom Hanks adventure Da Vinci Code.
Oh yeah, Da Vinci Code, yeah.
What
Because
the lexicon?
there's some word for that
thing.
because it is a word based the round thing. You're
Yeah,
talking
what
about
is
the
it
tube.
called? Yeah,
I don't
I'll look this
remember.
up. The round tube in Da Vinci Code.
Just search like
Google that.
Da Vinci Code LEX.
Yeah.
It'll pop up.
By the way, you were right about what IPA stands for. Would you say International Phonetic Alphabet?
You're a smart
Look
guy.
at that.
Look at
Look at
that.
the big brain on Scott.
Yeah.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
And that's why they pay me the medium bucks.
Cryptics.
Cryptics? Oh, okay.
Cryptics.
Okay, cryptex.
That could be it. Whatever.
All right, I don't know.
Cryptex. Oh,
Yeah,
EX.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had the,
The round thing.
EX part.
Yeah, yeah. We tried.
Yeah. So what were you saying about? Oh well. Okay, French. Yeah.
Yeah,
To tie
French,
it back into that.
So when I was over in Paris, when I was over there a few years ago, I just noticed the pacing and like the tonnage of the way they speak. That's not right, but
That's a medical term, I
yeah,
believe.
tonnage. Yeah. They just like when they said bonjour, it was kind of like they sung it almost. It was
Yeah,
like, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, like it seems like
Really?
some of the some of the phrases that they would use from day to day. Like I was standing in line at a sandwich shop right outside the St. Michael's Square, and some lady was ordering a sub, and so it's just bonjour. I don't know, and the rest of the, I guess, interaction between her and the guy making the sandwich, it seemed to come off, maybe it was just her, but in other like instances throughout my travels, it seemed to be the case that like there was a kind of somewhat of a like a tone that they would say certain words or phrases at.
Yeah, it probably has a lot to do with like who it is too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go
Sure.
to Boston
Yeah, sure.
and New York, you have an accent there.
sure.
Like if you came from another country, you'd be like, wow, this is how they speak in, America.
And then you go
But,
to
like,
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're like, they
That's a whole
don't
nother
speak.
world.
Howdy, y'all.
I was in
Get that southern drawl.
Yeah.
I was in what they called, I think it's called the Cuban town or whatever of Paris. It's
What?
a bunch of bars, nightclubs down in that
Like
area.
there's a lot
Cubans.
of Cuban people who live there?
I don't know.
Huh.
Can you look that up?
Yeah.
Because I'm actually curious what it's called, but it was
Like a Cuban district or
Cuban district or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. We
like
stayed,
Chinatown, but Cuba Town.
I think so, yeah. So we stayed in a apartment above all the hustle and bustle and below, and there was this bar directly below where we stayed. So it was really late at night. It was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. It's still popping, and I went down and I sat at the bar, and everybody around me speaking French and whatnot. And so when I ordered my drink, obviously I did in English, the only language I know. And the guy was like, "Weird, where? I've never heard your accent before. Where are you from?" And I was like, Colorado. You've never heard an English accent before?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of weird. Seems like a very touristy area. And so, yeah, I think I was surprised to see that they didn't understand when we're speaking about like accents and stuff. Did you ever
that
find
they
what-
didn't
what
recognize.
it's-
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
It
All
must
right.
not be a popular
Maybe
thing.
it's just a local thing that they call
Maybe,
it that.
yeah.
I don't know.
Either way.
I mean, there's definitely Cuban places there, so they may have a little street or
It kind of
something.
seems weird that Cuba has some sort of influence in all the way over.
You
well,
know
a lot
what?
of Cubans
France.
have left Cuba.
Yeah, it also
For
could
one
be
reason or another.
that
That's
like
true.
some Europeans just took advantage of
True.
like Cuban culture, and they were
Yeah.
like, let's make this because people will find it interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna use the bathroom.
But I have some French coworkers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I work for an international company, so
Right.
I have a couple of French coworkers, and I like their accents. They're pretty cool.
They are.
I noticed that like of the people I work with and the customers we have, it seems like French speakers are the least fluent in English.
Yeah, something I noticed. I people give, because I've been to France and I was only
haven't.
there for like 3 days, and really most of what I saw was Paris. So that's my bias going
Yeah.
into it. So everybody knows.
Right.
So the first time I went to Europe, I went to Germany for 3 days, and then we drove to Paris, and then we spent 3 nights in Paris. So we had spent 3 days around the south of Germany, Bavaria area. Munich was our home base, and so we saw a lot of
It's
stuff
a really
around there.
pretty area, right?
Gorgeous,
Yeah.
man. Gorgeous. It's hard to describe because like the U.S. is a very diverse place, but we don't have places quite like Europe does. There's some places when you go to Europe, you go like, oh, this is new. Like this is not something I'm familiar with. We don't have this sort of thing. We've
Right.
got the Northeast, we've got the Southeast, we've got desert, we've got the Northwest, and then the Midwest is pretty forgettable. But sorry, Midwest, it's true. But you go to the south of Germany, and it's just beautiful. And in Germany, like everybody we met, no matter where we were, everybody we met spoke English.
Yeah.
And they were perfectly happy to speak in English. And it
Unless
was
you
great.
go to a really small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case,
Most
of
people
course.
still speak English, like very little English, but yeah, like they're very
But they'll
fluent.
be nice about it. They don't
Yeah,
care.
right.
As long as you're nice to people, people generally don't care. But so we went from Germany straight to Paris. And when we got to Paris, it wasn't that people in Paris were rude. That's not really what it was.
That's the stereotype.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the stereotype, but
Yeah.
it's really just that they were not interested in being polite.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't really that interested, I guess is the word, but they didn't care that much to be polite to us, because if they heard us speak in English, they just kind of were like, nah. It's
I've
not
heard
like they
that.
were like,
Mhm.
fuck you. They weren't mean about it.
English-speaking People, yeah.
My
Yeah.
experience was if you're in a restaurant or in some kind of hospitality environment, they were nice to you because they want your money. Like
Yeah,
they're not going to
right.
be assholes to you. But if you were going up and asking a random guy who's on his way to work, you know, where where the
He might
nearest
just go,
McDonald's was, he's going to go, you stupid fucking
Sacre
American.
bleu, or whatever they say.
I don't blame him.
know.
I probably would do the same thing if I lived in Paris and it's a massive international destination.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be kind of annoyed getting the same bullshit.
But you know
questions
what?
every
You've
single
got to
day.
imagine that they would recognize Spanish the same way, and I don't know,
I've also-
Italian the same way.
I've also heard that like once you get into the country a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
people are like less like not like what you
Less
said,
uptight.
it's not rude, but like
Yeah.
less like, oh yeah, I'll help you, or
Right.
just kind of like
It
nicer.
depends for sure where you are too, because like if you're in a hotel, like that was the thing that really bugged me. That was actually the only thing that bugged me. Like we stayed at a decently nice hotel in Paris. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't special at all, but it was nice. It was, you know, well put together and well staffed. But like even there, you could tell they didn't want to speak in English. It's like it wasn't even you. It wasn't the fact that you were American. It was English. It was
Yeah.
the language.
right?
That's what I thought was
Because it's so
interesting.
ugly. Because it doesn't rhyme.
I get it. But
Yeah.
you know, it's funny. Like I wonder if they think the same thing about German people, because
Sure.
English is Germanic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if they like look down on that. Too.
German is like just sounds like someone's mumbling English.
Yeah, a lot
Like
of times.
unless they have a really heavy accent, like you know, like the nine.
The
kinda,
syntax is very similar. When
Right.
you listen to somebody speak German, you understand some of the roots of the word, even if you don't understand the whole word.
Right.
And you understand the canter. You know, understand like the beat pattern of what they're saying.
Right.
You know, whereas like if you like, that's what is tricky about Spanish, is that you have to say like the car red, el carro roja, or
Right.
whatever. You know, the syntax is flip flopped for a lot of things that you want to say. You know, whereas in English and German and what else is a Germanic language? Do we know off the guesses off the top of our head? No Google.
the Germanics.
Yeah, Germanics. What else is
Germanic
German?
Germanics.
German?
When I was in France, and more specifically Paris, I encountered. It was right after, well, not right after. I guess it was the year after Trump took office.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting at a restaurant and we overheard some people talking about like how terrible he was, like
Yeah.
how a president was, and like it just felt like the respect for America or Americans had declined in a way because of the representation of the people.
Yep.
Was in such poor character.
I will say traveling and seeing the way that America is portrayed by the rest of the world is really interesting. Like the first time I ever went to Europe was the day after the Brexit election. I landed in London Heathrow at like 10 a.m. You know, it's an overnight flight to get to Europe, right?
Yeah.
So we landed in London Heathrow, and we like get off the plane. We had a little bit of a layover. I picked up a newspaper, and like all the newspapers were talking about Brexit. I still have it because I thought it was cool. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this is
that's
like
kinda cool.
It's a good
this is a
one to
big
keep.
deal. Like they
It
just
is.
voted yesterday.
It's a
You know,
huge
it was the
thing.
day after, so everybody was abuzz with it for weeks. This was also the same summer as the Pulse shooting. So, and I
Oh.
live in Orlando.
Yeah.
You know, so it was very near and dear. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on that summer. But like the way that they were talking about it and handling it, you know, like makes the world feel smaller. But I forgot what my point was.
The point is
Portrayal
that-
of Americans.
Oh yeah.
portrayal of
Oh yeah.
Americans.
Yeah. The last time I went over though, that was my point that I was trying to get to. The first time I went over, that's what was really going on. But
Yeah.
the last time I went to Ireland last summer.
Oh, cool.
And you saw so many touristy gift shops where they sold stuff that was like making fun of Trump.
Yes. Yes.
It was so weird. I was like, why do you guys care?
It's a joke. Well, I
First
mean,
of all,
it's just
but-
drama.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for
Yeah.
people to
Well, yeah.
complain about stuff.
Because
But-
I guess America is like a big brother country.
well, and the other thing
for a
is
lot of
like a
English
lot of the
speaking.
stuff we do really impacts a lot of the European countries, and so and especially with the difference in our governments and our cultures, like a
Yeah.
lot of socialism versus capitalism.
Yeah.
I think some of them are a little sensitive to it because of the impact it does have on their country,
Mm-hmm.
where they, I think, kind of like expect more of a social, like you help your community kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like America seems to, like, at least recently, have a standoffish approach. Like,
It's very
leave us
every man
alone.
for themselves.
right.
Kinda.
But
It's
we're
like
still going to
nationalist.
use you as, our, like to help our economy. Right.
Right. Yeah, because
So-
they have our music, they have our movies, they
Right.
have like look at Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was he could have been just a huge name from over there, but he came to LA.
Mm-hmm.
He started
Yeah.
producing music here, and now he's a global phenomenon.
So my company recently got a new CEO, and one of the things he said, which when you're an American working for the company, like it can be like you can feel a little sensitive to it, but you kind of like once you kind of understand where he's coming from, it's like okay. But what he said at the end of his intro was let's do it like he compares our company to the leaders who are in the market, who are in the US, like Google and Microsoft and such.
Yep.
And his like summary at the end was, let's do it better than the Americans. And like a quarter of the company
As an
are
American, that's got to
Americans.
be interesting to
Right.
see.
And so
to hear.
like at first I kind of thought, oh wow, that's I mean, I'm American, so
Yeah.
I work for you.
Yeah.
You're
But-
part of the quarter that is American.
But I think like a lot of them have a sensitivity where they think like we're proud of our culture too.
Right.
We want to do big things.
Yeah.
We don't want it to just be America who dominates all the markets.
Right.
And I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the tech industries in California just leading the world economically. I mean, in terms of like iPhones, how many non-Americans have iPhones?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when China
few.
tries to compete with us, then we just say nope.
Well,
You're
yeah, I
illegal
mean,
now.
for us at least.
Right.
I mean, the
China is just
Alibaba
constant-
empire.
Well, Alibaba is just a offshoot
That's
of
one arm.
Amazon.
Yeah, well, true.
China is really good at replicating American ventures.
in a cheap
Oh yeah.
way.
In
Oh
a
yeah.
cheaper
Because
way.
the word
Because they
copyright does not translate well
No.
to Chinese.
And they can do a lot of things cheaper because they don't
Mm-hmm.
have labor
They have-
laws.
Yeah. Slave labor, child
Yeah.
labor.
So I challenge our Chinese comrades to be more original.
Yeah, right.
Creative.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah, prove us wrong.
Yeah,
Do
true.
something new.
We went from like talking about Europe to criticizing China.
We're
doing
further.
everything-
We went from talking about cheating on a webcam to
Yeah.
criticizing.
Oh wait,
China.
actually
Whatever.
it was cam girls.
I think I
first.
just lost all my Chinese sponsors.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, oops.
Oops. Wait. Did you have any
I
Chinese?
don't.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
TikTok.
Wish.com.
Wait, do you have any
Wish.com.
sponsors yet?
I don't have any
No,
sponsors.
no sponsors yet. All right.
No.
Guys,
Side
have
you-
Brewing
Roses.
Company.
The smooth taste of Four Roses.
Go to fourroses.com.
Go to fourroses.com.
Hit that promo code.
Are you ever-
at the
Are
Lucky
you
Duck.
ever going to Walmart.com and just wishing you could get things cheaper?
Bro, if you guys got money from Walmart,
Not
you made
a
it.
chance.
If Walmart is willing to invest in you, bro, isn't that the Koch brothers? Aren't they involved in Walmart? Aren't they part of
don't
that
know.
family?
I don't
Or are
They're
they
part
just?
of a
Am
little
I
bit
just
of everything,
generalizing?
bro.
Probably have some investments in them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they go to their secret bunkers and just run the world from wherever
I
wherever the
gotta tell
bunkers
you, a
are.
lot of the rich New Yorker business people, they flew out to Aspen and rented all the Aspen properties.
I'm sure.
And now are hiding out in the mountains.
I'm
until
sure.
this whole COVID thing blows over.
That sounds awesome.
Get this. So my girlfriend almost gave it up there. My girlfriend, lovely woman, because at some point she's going to listen to
the
this and
best.
she's going to want me
I've
to
met
give her a
her. She's
shout out.
great.
I haven't met her,
beautiful-
but I know she's great.
Wonderful head on her shoulders. Yeah, best thing that ever happened to me. She and I were looking. Her birthday is coming up, and so she and I were looking at things to do. You know, just something to like. The nice thing about living where we live is that the idea of a staycation is very easy.
Yeah.
There are so many things you can do where you just drive across town and then you can stay in like a world renowned hotel or thing. So there's a Four Seasons, down.
Nice.
It's a very nice
All right,
hotel.
I guess I already said I
It's a
live in
5-star
Orlando.
hotel.
So down at
did.
Disney, there's a Four Seasons. There's a Four Seasons Disney, and it's really fucking nice. It's really nice.
Four Seasons is one of the nicest hotels in the world.
Yeah. So we were looking at staying at their at the hotel and doing just doing like a couples massage and spend some time at the pool. Maybe
That's
dad
the
goes and
kinda-
plays golf.
That's the hotel that you go, like the resort you go to, and you just stay at the resort.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to leave.
Yeah.
Because it's so nice.
I checked out. I
Yeah.
checked out the hotel prices for the most expensive room at the Four Seasons Denver.
Yeah.
So I think it was about 11. It depends on what day, obviously, you stay in. But
Yeah.
it was anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000 a night.
That's insane.
Wow.
Dude, we looked it up on their website for Orlando. They don't even list the prices. They say call us.
Yeah, that's
Call
when you,
us
that's
and find
when
out.
you know
Right.
it's hella expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We looked I think it was Labor Day weekend. We were looking at staying there just for like a night. We were
Yeah.
like, let's just splurge.
Treat
Let's just go
ourselves.
have like one night. We'll go
Room
'cause,
service.
Yeah, Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando does this thing called Magical Dining Month, where you can go to like all
Jesus
the nice
Christ.
restaurants in
Why
town.
does everything have to be magical? In
I know,
fucking
right?
Orlando?
Yeah. Well, it's for a good cause. They donate money for every meal that they sell. It's just like the month of like September or something,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, it's good.
But for every meal that one of these restaurants sells, it's a 3-course meal. Whatever restaurant you go to, it's a 3-course meal for $35.
Yeah.
So we did one. The only one we ended up doing was at a really nice steakhouse. So both of us upgraded our steak to like a 1 pound ribeye. We paid for a nice bottle of wine. So like when you do all that, like it adds up. But like the Magical Dining Month makes it pretty cheap. It's like $35 a person for a 3-course meal.
Denver
So it's,
does the same thing. It's like Denver Restaurant Week. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like anywhere
and
for
and there's a portion that
price.
goes to some charity, and it's great. It's wonderful. So we went, but we were also thinking about going for Labor Day, staying a night at the Four Seasons, and like for like Saturday night to Sunday or Friday night to Saturday. For the cheapest room, it was like $800 a night, and we're like, "Go
Yeah.
fuck yourselves! Fuck that!
Yeah.
Get out of here!" Like,
Crazy.
$800 a night. Yeah.
for a hotel.
And you gotta be honest. Like some like the it's a nice resort or hotel to stay at, but the room itself.
It's
for
just
the
a room.
lowest- for the lowest
Like-
tiered room. You could get a much better room somewhere else.
My bed
For
that I bought
cheaper.
is more comfortable. I like my pillows better than I like
For
their
one
pillows.
night at the Four Seasons,
Like-
you can get a top-notch mattress for your own.
yeah,
true.
yeah. For not much more money, you can buy a whole ass mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
True.
So it was funny. So we looked at that weekend. We were gonna try and go for Labor Day or whatever. And then
Yeah.
since then we've been looking to go back for her birthday, which is coming up in a couple months. So, we're just gonna do like 1 or 2 nights. Try to find like an off time. I get some time off with the holidays, and we're gonna try and find time to stay there. So she was looking like last weekend. She was looking up rates and whatnot on their website. They have a special. They have a thing right now for people who are staying long term, because you can like stay like on a monthly basis at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
You can if you are like
Loaded.
fuck you kind of rich. Like if
Yeah.
you're that rich,
Yeah.
or you can just say fuck you to anybody in the United States.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you're that rich, you can stay by the month at the Four Seasons. And if you do, and if you have children, they have staff who are being paid to supervise children that are distance learning all day.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Good for them.
supervise them during lunch, give them an activity in the afternoon. So you get basically full day daycare for your child from like 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
For the low price of $40,000 a month.
Right? Yeah, like how much money do you have to make to be able to afford to not only
By the Four Seasons.
live at the Four Seasons for a while,
Yeah.
but pay for your student?
That's crazy.
Man, there's
Pay
a
for
lot
your
of rich
kid to
people
be-
out there in America.
When we went to
I bet they could pack that shit in.
when we went to Thailand, they have a lot of Four Seasons there
Mhm.
because they just have a lot of different resorts, and it was like, I mean, it's insanely cheap there. So
Yeah.
you could get, it was like your room, you had your own infinity pool.
Wow.
It was like beautiful, like $400 a night.
Really? In
Yeah.
Thailand?
hmm We didn't stay there because
I gotta go to Thailand.
Yeah, right.
I gotta go.
But yeah, it's insane.
I would do
Insane.
that. Yeah.
You know, South Africa has a
How
lot of
long were you
cheap
guys there
places,
for in Thailand?
too. 2 weeks, I think it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that seems like plenty of time.
Oh, it was plenty of time. Yeah. We did we went into Bangkok and then, which is, like everyone knows Bangkok, and then
Yep.
Chiang Mai, which is in the north. So
Mhm.
it's like a totally different scene. And then we went into the rainforest, which was absolutely insane. I would recommend that. And then after that, we went to the resort areas.
So you and you guys saw elephants and stuff too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Did-
saw.
Because you guys went to one of those like legit places where like they're not like exploiting.
They're not like
elephants.
circuses, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, even like the good ones, supposedly some of them aren't good. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of like usually if you're able to ride an elephant,
Yeah.
or like you just, it's just bad.
Yeah.
You kind of have to find one that's like the elephants just kind of come and go. Like they don't promise that you're gonna see what this or that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we went to one we thought was good. I don't know if it was or not. And
You
then
hope. You gotta hope.
we hope, right? And then that's where I proposed to Sarah.
Right.
And when we did that, I hired a photographer and he
Mm-hmm.
brought us to a place, an eco resort, and we, I actually proposed in front of the elephant and then
Right.
took pictures and stuff like that. And like they'll bathe in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like they enjoy their lives. Like they look like happy and they're
That's
just
good.
walking around doing whatever they want. But yeah, that
'Cause
was really cool.
You hear about how intelligent elephants are.
Yeah.
You hear about how wise and like calculated they are. You don't want.
And
an
they seem
animal
like it.
that
What's
to-
the lifespan of average lifespan of an elephant?
I don't know. I think it depends if they're
Hopefully
African
long.
or Asian.
Maybe.
Those are the two big ones, right?
Yeah.
The two big types.
African and Asian elephants.
that and the one that lives in my backyard?
Yeah, the one that you exploit for money.
He's a Florida elephant though.
Homegrown.
He smokes clove cigarettes, and he's got a Flow Rida tattoo.
Pills.
Yeah.
Flow Rida. Yeah.
No, sorry, not Flow Rida. No,
FGL.
no, the one that really gets me is the Flow Grown. You guys remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also the
Like-
skull, the Punisher
Yeah,
tattoo.
the Punisher.
Punisher, that's a big
Yeah.
one. That's nationwide. I see
Every
the
time I
Punisher.
see
Yeah.
a Flow Grown
That's all the
sticker
other
though,
day.
I'm like,
Why?
I'm like, bro, you're in Florida. Like, no one's impressed.
yeah.
No one's excited to see that. No one looks at a Flow Grown sticker and goes, "That's
Hell
one,
yeah,
that's
bro."
my guy. That's
unless,
my guy."
Unless you
That's
also
what's
have
up.
one.
Yeah, unless you also
You're
have
like,
one. Yeah.
Flow bro.
Flow
Yeah.
Bros.
Okay. So let's talk about things that all guys who have a Flow Grown sticker on their truck, all of them have
Huge
mommy
dick.
issues.
Oh, wait.
First
Yeah.
of all,
Yeah.
first of all, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure, they were not hugged enough by their mom.
Right.
Their
They
mom
had
was
a
a meth addict.
maybe. There's a lot of that in
Yeah,
Florida.
She was also abused by her husband.
Dad might not
so
have
she
been
did-
around.
Yeah. There's that too.
You never know, dude.
Yeah.
Guys, girls,
We knew a lot
it's-
of people. We knew a lot of people in high school that could fit that.
Yeah.
that bill. Unfortunately,
because
Sucks.
you always hear about girls with daddy issues, right? And like that's always what you hear about. But
Yeah.
I think guys with mommy issues are much more prevalent, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
think girls would probably right now go yes, like they would go 100% because they're the ones running into us more often.
hit us
than
up in the comment
straight
section
guys.
what you think.
Yeah.
Live tweet at us.
Have you ever heard of a flow bro?
Yeah,
Let us know.
We're gonna start.
Did
this
we make that
hashtag
word?
Flow bro.
Hashtag flow
Yeah,
bro.
By the way,
let's get it right.
Elephants live, so the African elephants live 60 to 70 years. Asian elephants, 48 years.
Okay.
That's what Google says.
So the African elephant has the same amount of average lifespan as an American male does.
Pretty much.
That's crazy.
Pretty much. Yeah. What's the
Yeah.
average American?
I think it's like
lifespan?
77, 75.
It's gone down recently.
It's gone
Oh,
down.
down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
it's gone down.
For the
Yeah.
first time in
Yep.
recorded history, I think it was something like that.
It
Like,
has gone down.
or
It's
since
due-
America.
It's due to all the woke bullshit, and it's partly due to Obama.
yeah. Thanks, Obama.
Thank you, Obama, for shortening our lifespan.
I
Yeah.
remember Obama put out this video. I don't remember what
We're joking,
it was
folks.
about, but he was like he was eating a cookie, and he had like a glass of milk and a cookie, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, there's like no dialogue. He just like takes the cookie and he dips it in the glass, but it won't fit, and he like looks at it and he goes, "Thanks, Obama."
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
I was like, yeah, that's
he's a good
kind of what I
sport.
feel like whenever I hear "Thanks, Obama."
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's 78.
Okay.
Like
78.5.
going down, it's not like 70.
It's point something.
Yeah,
right?
it's like point something.
Yeah, point something.
Every year.
What
And
is
men-
that? What does that largely due to? Miles,
Yeah,
can
I
you find
don't-
that out?
I
The
don't
number
know.
one cause of death in America, you mean?
Well, no, just the decline in the average lifespan
Oh.
of the average American male.
I could guess. I could use some bro science and guess.
Call of
I'm gonna
Duty.
say definitely Call of Duty. The standard American diet.
Drug
Americans eat like
overdoses.
shit.
Drug overdose. That's
Drug.
Apparently,
that I
Wow.
was just
it's
thinking
twice
that.
as high as a decade ago.
Yeah. So the
Twice as high as
Yeah.
2010.
Well, so
Is
they're
that
not.
20
They're not
2020?
talking about this shit.
Holy shit.
Well, it's obviously they're
In the
referencing the
2000s.
fentanyl
Or in the
crisis
they gotta
going
be,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. It's all the opioids,
Well, 'cause,
right?
yeah, like
is that what they're referencing?
A
in your
fentanyl
article?
bump can kill you.
Article brought to you by what?
Fox News.
Thank
I'm just
you.
kidding.
Oh,
Damn
great.
it, CBS. So I mean,
CBS.
Okay,
all
all
right.
right. Well,
Not-
yeah.
None
It's just as
of
bad.
these big guys. I mean, we'll have to take it at
Right.
and bit by bit, but yeah, the fentanyl crisis is pretty bad, and it doesn't. I think that, and then also I think suicides are up. I think
With
suicides are
COVID,
at
maybe,
a
yeah.
high and that is a tragedy. I think that's also plaguing our youth as well.
For sure.
yeah.
It's a real. I can't imagine going through COVID and this is more on a serious note. I can't imagine going through COVID and being. I think South Park nails it pretty wisely.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the
the pandemic
from South
special,
Park,
it's great.
Watch it.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
amazing.
lot of truth that they spit, but I
Damn,
think
bro.
being a malleable young person going through this crisis has really got to take a toll on you. I was a pretty I wouldn't say fragile, but I was pretty vulnerable growing up to where if I think I went through something like this, that it would hurt, it would scar me pretty bad in terms of maybe I would be like a hypochondriac
Yeah.
later in my life or something like that. I can't imagine being a young person and going through this, and so my thinking is that it's got to take a toll on the mental health of our youth, and I'm hoping that in the next few election cycles that we have some kind of game plan to combat some of the mental health issues that come out of this, and also just the general mental health issues caused by social media and some of the other things that younger teenage people have to deal with, because I think there's nothing out, no
Right.
new legislation being introduced, or even healthy discourse besides like people like, I think Joe Rogan talks about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When he had like I think his name was John H. I can't remember his last name, from the author of the Coddling of the American Mind, of how much politics and social media affects and just pandemic bullshit coming up in our lives. I mean, I know a few people really struggling with that currently. It's tough,
Yeah.
and I think we need to address the mental health issues. Even I know back in the Reagan era of politics, they cut a lot of that funding, and I think that has to do, or that the consequences of that can be blamed from the homelessness problem that we see nowadays. Like we were just talking about on Cole in the previous podcast, the homelessness issue.
Right.
In LA. I don't think we actually we talked about that, but
a little bit. I think like expanding that even further, like
I just butchered a whole like segment while you were gone about how the American youth
I
is
heard
suffering.
I was gonna say too. I wanted to fill in the blanks. Was it Jonathan Haidt? Haidt.
That's it.
Jonathan Haidt.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Coddling of the American Mind.
Yeah, I haven't read that book, but I'm actually so when I went to Thanksgiving in Virginia last year to see my family, I got to talking with my uncle. I have an uncle. I don't know if you guys knew. I have an uncle that's very ingrained in politics in D.C.
Oh.
Yeah. My family married into him. My mom's sister married him. What does this remind me?
The special stuff.
The special stuff. Okay, cool. Mike's special stuff, like Space Jam.
Chase mixed in something with it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. It smells like elderberries and farts. That smells delicious. Yeah, so my uncle was a chief of staff for a governor for a state. Probably shouldn't give it away.
Yeah, sure.
So he was the chief of staff, which is kind of cool. You know, I was a big this is nice. I was a big House of Cards fan, so Doug Stamper, you know, that was such a cool chief of staff role.
I know.
I always like imagined my uncle doing that. Like,
Right.
ooh, probably not.
Probably not. Hopefully
Probably not. No, not really. But so he's been around politics for a long time. He was a professor at George Washington. He was actually he's a professor at Harvard recently too, actually, because he was part of some special program. They got like Paul Ryan and my uncle and like some other politicians, like people that like we knew about, like names you knew, to do this like it was part of like a graduate coursework thing at Harvard. I don't know, you know, academics at the highest level are so vague sometimes. But anyways, my uncle is very knowledgeable. He's the president of this group in DC. He's been ingrained in politics for a long time. Like he hosts events that Trump and Pence have been to. Like my uncle has had like casual walking down the hall conversations with the president, you know, and the vice president. And he's got some funny stories about that. But he is a like really, really, really well taught, educated, conservative mind in politics. And I will admit genuinely, I forgot why I brought him up. What were we talking about right before it?
We're talking about how great that Law's
No.
Law's Distillery.
Yeah, so
whiskey,
it was Miles and I.
Bourbon.
You're not part of this.
So you were going off of like the guest on Joe Rogan,
Jonathan Haidt. Yeah, my uncle and I said thank you. My uncle and I got to talking about him because my uncle met him. The guy that Cole brought him up. Cole brought him up. Jonathan Haidt for a different book than the one that I was reading. But yeah, Jonathan Haidt is a really intelligent guy when it comes to those, how would you put it?
Social issues.
Yeah, social issues, but specifically when it has to do with politics. The reason why people are so quick to judge the other side just for being the other side.
Yeah.
You know, like
Tribal.
understanding our reasons why we get so heated about disagreeing with people nowadays, you know. And he's a very calm guy. Like listening to him talk, he's very well spoken. He's very calm. He's very well mannered. Like when you listen to him talk, he's like he doesn't fumble for words ever. You know, he's got a very good grasp on what he's talking about, and it's really refreshing to hear somebody talk about politics with that kind of mentality, you know, because you and the three of us, we are all of this generation where, like, you know, the first time when Obama first got elected, you and I were juniors in high school, you know, so you're only a year behind us, right? You're a sophomore, two. Okay, yeah. So you're a freshman, whatever. But you know, we were young enough that we didn't really know anything yet. We just kind of were getting our feet wet with it.
Yeah.
So ever since Obama, you know, we got 8 years of him with a lot of mixed reactions. And now we've got 4 years of Trump, you know, and next month we're going to find out, I mean, what is it, 3 weeks away? Election day, November 3rd? Is that November 3rd?
Yeah, I think it's 3rd.
Election day.
We're all doing mail-in ballots because we're good American citizens.
We're
and
social
we are
distancing.
voting.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
but we're voting
but
by
we're
mail.
also doing yes.
Voting by
We're
mail.
voting by
Voting
mail. But
yeah,
every vote counts, whether it's by mail or not. So
for sure.
Yes.
So we're doing our due diligence, I guess you could say. I guess you could call it.
Are they going to be sending us "I voted" stickers like with the
they
ballot?
fucking better.
Yeah, because
Right?
it's not
'Cause
worth it.
Otherwise,
Forget it.
how am I supposed to go into public?
I'm not
I
going to
live in
vote
a
unless
liberal
they give
city.
me a sticker.
Exactly. Like I want to vote by mail just because I can, but like I want to go be with.
I want to
other
rub it
people.
in everybody's faces.
Yeah.
Everybody, do not vote unless they give you the sticker. Don't do it.
Did you
Don't do it. It's
Did
not
you
worth
see?
it.
Don't do it.
Did you
Unless-
see a what was it, federal judge or whoever? What I don't know the difference between all the different types of judges, but blocked the Texas. Was it the Texas governor, who tried to limit the ballot boxes?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
So they took, it was like 12, they had 12 in total, the ballot drop-offs, I think it was.
Just for one county.
one
Okay.
county.
Yeah. So like
They
all
reduced
the
it
counties.
to one.
Right.
To one. Yeah.
Okay.
So each county gets one box to drop. It's like where you drop off the mail-ins, right? Which is weird because don't you mail it in? I don't.
I mean, unless
If you don't
I
have
don't know,
mailbox.
maybe Texas
Unless you
is
wait
different.
long enough and don't fill it out when you get it,
Oh.
then you don't have enough time. If you don't have enough time to like effectively mail it in time of
Yeah.
the deadline,
So they
then-
just pick those
Yeah,
up
you
and they
have
go
to-
straight to the.
Miles,
Exactly. That's
I
what
feel
did
like
last time.
of anybody I know, you would have the most well-informed opinion on this matter. Should we be voting on our phones digitally or not?
Oh, on our phones.
Could we? Could the country vote for president by a mobile compatible
Kind of
website?
like how we vote for American Idol.
Is that feasible?
So I think that it could be feasible if the infrastructure was there.
Okay.
I don't think it's there now. There would have to be a massive amount of security put into that.
Yeah, like the world's strongest. It literally would have to be the
Right.
world's strongest encrypted security system
Right.
yeah.
to determine who is going to be the
it's-
superpower leader of the
It's
world.
tricky then because it's like,
Essentially.
who do you go
Well-
to?
Well,
who
and
develops
so
it?
the thing is,
Yeah, because
so
you have to contract somebody out. So who
Well, right.
who do you think, in your opinion, right now would have the resources to develop such content?
oh, I mean,
or,
any
system?
big government contractor, Lockheed, Harris, that's who I used to work for.
Yeah.
Northrop. I mean, any of
Yeah.
them could do it. So the thing is like, okay, so just thinking about like mail-in ballots. So when you go and vote, it depends what state you're in, how they'll check your ID.
Sure.
Like when I first voted, the first time I ever voted, they required me to sign, they wanted me to make my signature exactly the same on my license. So I gave them
Yeah.
my license, and then I had to
Signature
make
matching.
So
Yeah.
there's that, and then you're in person, and you have your ID, and this and that. Someone's checking it, and then there's mail-in ballots where it's like, you're a person, you register to vote, they send you something. Now, whether that gets intercepted and someone somehow steals your identity and they send it
Right.
in, like there's still like you can always hack it. There's a way to hack the system.
Sure.
But at a mass scale, nobody is stealing your identity, matching your
exactly,
your
yeah.
signature.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're like
Enough to
there's
influence
always
election.
going to be a way to like influence something, hack something with
When you're talking about technology,
Right.
digital,
right. So when
interactions.
I'm thinking like digital, I mean we all have most of us. So I think there's some people who don't have social security numbers, but like all U.S. citizens have a social security number, right? So you basically have like some kind of identity with the government. The government knows who you are.
Right.
And every person who has a social security number can vote. And so you can use that, like if all there is one vote for you, like they know how many votes can come in. So there's one way. So like you can't just have like a million votes all of a sudden for say Donald Trump.
Right.
Like it's like they have to come from somewhere. It has to be a person.
Right.
And then on top of that, you need some way to like basically digitally sign that vote to say like it came from the iPhone or a computer that Miles Anderson owns because he got some, like there has to be an exchange of keys basically.
Yeah, like
Right.
two-form verification.
Right. So maybe they send you, so like you send them a key, they send you something back, and then it like you have to like match them up in order to verify it, right?
That
And so
verifies that
like
you-
they know that it was you.
It's like
you know it was
resetting your
them.
password then, basically, right? I mean, because that's essentially how you reset your password.
Kind of.
Like, if they
Kinda.
send
it's
you
a
a-
little easier to hack the password thing.
Well,
Right.
for sure.
Because you
but
can fish your
Yeah.
email
Right.
and stuff.
So there's always going to be like you do the best you can,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't think it's necessarily less secure to do it digitally than it is to do it like any other way.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, you bank online. Why can't
Right.
we vote online?
Right.
Right.
Like, that's the big thing right now.
I haven't
They
had
say
to go
that.
into a bank location in years.
You trust Wells Fargo
Years.
with thousands and thousands of your dollars of your money.
Right.
Yeah, they have my mortgage.
And
like
bank
I
fraud
trust them.
exists. Like banking fraud
It's-
exists.
yes,
Right.
It
does.
happens.
Credit card fraud
cards
all the
even
time.
more.
Credit cards are less
frequently.
secure. Like
Yeah.
you can pretty much fill in, like as long as you have somebody's address
Well,
or
because
something.
all you really need to start is a card number, and it's so easy to build a scanner that you can hook up to like a gas pump.
right.
I heard that there is $350,000 of bank fraud per day in the
Per
United
day.
States.
Yeah, I could
I believe
believe
that. I believe that. That's actually not difficult to understand or believe at all. My mom works for a bank, and she has worked for them for a long time since we were in high school. So it's been about 10 years, over 10 years now since
Okay.
she's worked there. And recently the most popular thing, it makes me so sad. Like there's this very common fraud setup where people who want to commit fraud will find some unsuspecting older, usually it's like a grandma, somebody's grandma. They call them, they figure out their phone number. All they have to do is
That's
find
easy.
that
Yeah.
person's phone number, call them and say, "Grandma, this is your grandson." They don't even have to know the kid's name.
Yeah.
They just say, "It's your grandson. I'm in jail and I need help." That's all they do.
Yeah.
And then immediately every grandma in America is like, at least 3 out of 4 of them are like, "How do I help my grandson?"
Yeah. Classic
How do
social
I do it?
engineering.
Yeah. Yeah. And all you have to do is vaguely sound like a young guy and just pretend like you know them.
Right.
Then the grandma drives to the bank, and then my mom or some employee of hers, welcomes them. "Hey, how can I help you?" And they're like, "Well, my grandson is in jail and they need me to send them money." And immediately that's a red flag for anybody that works in a bank now.
Ding, ding,
that's
ding.
that's a big red flag. But what
Yeah.
makes it really sad is that, like, she's told me that so often the person that comes in, the grandma or grandfather or whoever, comes and goes, no, my grandson wouldn't do that. My grandson would never do anything. And then they have to be like, "Well, it's not your grandson."
Yeah.
Like,
It's not your grandson.
like it's somebody trying to commit fraud. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to scam you.
Do they
Call them on a number that you know them by.
Yeah.
That's what they try
That's
to
what I was
do.
gonna ask. Yeah.
But even still, sometimes they're like, "Nope, I know my grandson. They would never do anything like that." And it's like you have to, especially
And
dealing
they can't
with
deny
old
her
people.
service.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she insists and be like, "No, that's not. I'm not gonna call him." They
Yeah, 'cause
still
then-
have to let her.
Yeah, because
withdraw
then what
that
if they
amount
like
of money.
write a review? We live in capitalist America where
Right.
like, oh my god, the customer's always right. Apparently,
Yeah.
We talked about that with the hospital system
Yeah.
with
Oh,
Erica. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the problem was they weren't allowing where they weren't allowing visitors at one point, and then they
Yeah.
started letting visitors again because they were worried about customer satisfaction.
right?
Yeah.
Because that matters for a fucking hospital.
Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. A place that like a lot of people go because like their arm was chopped off and
Right.
they're gonna die.
Right.
But like I
Man.
want to go to that
In
hospital.
Florida, more specifically,
Yeah.
it's my arm got bitten off
by
an alligator.
which is fucking hilarious because
It
you and I
happens.
graduated with a guy.
With a
we
guy,
we
yeah.
have the
That's true.
same graduating class as a
Yeah.
guy who got his arm bitten off at the
it
elbow
was
by
his
an
hand
alligator.
to be more specific.
Well, it was up
Yeah.
to his elbow.
Was it?
It was up to his elbow
Oh, okay.
because I saw him. I met him. I
Well,
not met him. I saw him afterwards.
So let's think this through. Alligator comes, does a little chomp on your hand.
yeah.
By the time you get to the hospital, where are they gonna do the
I don't
chopping,
know, man.
and the cauterizing? It's
I feel like-
it's.
I feel like it's got to be easier to take it off above the elbow because you know what I mean. Like a joint, after that point, there's no point in keeping the elbow joint. Why bother?
I think
cut
a
it
lot
off
of them
right
will-
above.
Yeah, maybe they'll do it like
Just give me a nub.
right above. the
Also
inside
thinking
of your
about like
elbow.
when it happened, you have to plug that shit up, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put a tourniquet on it. You got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. Before
Yeah,
the
I-
ambulance even gets there.
I don't know what his situation was. Like, I know where he was because he was out. Off
He was
of-
not where he was supposed to be. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
It's where the
Uh,
alligators are.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Everywhere in
Like,
Florida, though.
that's the stupidity of this Florida man that we know. Is
Ladies
that,
and
like,
gentlemen, don't go diving and swimming in
He went swimming.
random canals.
in a canal where
And
they
near,
know
near
there
very
are
near
alligators.
the Everglades.
Pretty much
in
like
the Everglades,
any
really, let's be
canal,
Yeah, it was kind of like
you should
in
just
the
not
Everglades.
swim in.
Yeah.
Because almost all of them have a alligator somewhere in
And
them.
on top of it, he was swimming there at dusk, which is the first time of the sunlight hours that alligators are active. Alligators come to life at dusk.
Smart.
In that area, at
Well,
least.
if you're going gator hunting, it's perfect. He was just hoping he could wrestle one to the.
It just
to
reminds
death.
me of that clip. I forget what Bill Nye did it for, but there's this There's this clip of Bill Nye where he just goes like, "It's so fucking stupid." Oh, what the fuck?
Have you
And then
ever
he like walks away.
Have you seen the clip where it's a bunch of like thirsty girls in an elevator like posing,
And then Bill Nye
all of a
walks
sudden
in?
randomly
No.
Bill Nye walks into the you should look it up
Really?
now.
Yeah, it's so
Bill Nye
funny.
walks into the elevator and they're all like, oh shit,
Because
Bill
they're all
Nye.
like shaking their ass or something. This
Yeah,
girl's
like-
like filming the reflection
Yeah.
in the door.
Yeah.
And they're like shaking their ass, and the door opens up, and they're like, "Oh!" And then Bill Nye walks in, and he's like, "Hello, everybody."
Yeah, he's very like timid and awkward.
Yeah,
'Cause
wearing a bow tie like
because
always.
Literally, he
It was
walked
in
into
Las Vegas.
What's
I don't doubt that at
I
all.
literally was about to say he walked into somewhere like a elevator in Las
Yeah.
Vegas because that's what happens in in Las Vegas elevators.
Girls are dancing in the mirror.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
We
So
have
thanks both of you guys for joining me today. I'm so glad I could have you guys on the podcast.
It's great.
What
What
so
is your
here's,
podcast name?
Here's what I wanted to ask you. It's called I Never Pull Out.
Oh, great! Right up my alley.
No. So
Yeah, you're watching. Yeah,
I'm watching it.
You're. This is a really low.
Quality.
The Wi-Fi at the Lucky Duck is
how
terrible.
did you even manage to find that bad of a quality video?
I don't know.
That's
It's
definitely the one I
slow-mo.
thought of.
And
though.
he's like, oh, and he. Not to mention, he's in like the very stereotypical Bill Nye outfit.
oh yeah, he's wearing a red
He's
suit
got
and
a
a bow
red
tie.
velvet suit with a bow tie on.
Yeah.
Like good. Thank God. Yeah.
yeah.
They're all this quality.
They're all. They immediately
And then
stop
the
as soon
door
as they
opens
see
and they're
them.
like,
He's like, oh hey, I'm just. Yep. He's like,
Hello,
lobby.
ladies.
Thank God for Bill Nye.
I like his
Can we
awkward
all
hand
just,
at the end, like,
give a moment to appreciate how great Bill Nye has
Bill Nye.
influenced the youth of America.
You know, it's crazy. I went
getting into
to
science.
the library the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to start
That's
with.
crazy of itself.
Oh,
And
crazy.
I was passing the movie area.
Mhm.
I was actually looking for a movie, but I was passing the like educational section of the
Yeah.
movie area, and there were Bill Nye, the science guy.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were DVDs, but
Okay.
like videos there.
That's
And
awesome.
I just thought it was crazy that it's still like he still has that domain.
I was
and
gonna
people
say-
still watch it.
Children in schools you'll be happy to know, are still watching Bill Nye.
Great. And you're-
Not in the way that we did.
And you're
but-
upset because you could only rent 2 of
Yes.
the videos at the same time.
Right.
Bro, I'll
yeah.
tell you what. I
stole
had this
one.
old. I bought this external hard drive in like 2009, and it was a 1 terabyte optical drive, and I was so fucking stoked
Ooh,
about
fancy.
it because it was like, yeah, because it 1 terabyte in 2009 was a big
It
deal.
was insane.
But
It was all the world's memory.
Right,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now I have a 1 terabyte SSD. You know,
Thumb
and
drive.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just requires. It's not a thumb drive per se. But it is one of those really small digital.
SSDs.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
SSD exactly. So it's really small, really thin, 1 terabyte. You know, it just requires a USB.
Mm-hmm.
But this drive, I at one point had the entire Bill Nye the Science Guy collection.
Yeah,
I had
Can't you get that
every
on Disney
episode.
Plus now?
What's that?
Isn't it Disney Plus has his entire library?
If it
of
is, I'm about to be so
I
excited.
know. It was it Netflix. I think it was Netflix that did the newer episodes.
They
It was
were,
like, it was
yeah.
for like science for adults or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember
It
what
was-
they named it.
And it was interesting.
You don't remember that? It was okay.
It was okay.
I mean, like honestly, the
But-
charm and the goofiness and the quirkiness of Bill Nye, and how cheesy it was perfect for the young adult audience, the
Yeah.
young audience that it was aimed at. Yeah, it's Bill Nye. Bill Nye's.
It's just Bill Nye's Science Guy.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
you know what? God bless that
It was
guy.
in 2017.
We need him even more than ever.
We can always
here.
use
Yeah.
yeah, because we need scientists.
Can we just
need-
say Bill Nye 2024? Can we just prop that up?
how about like Bill Nye and
I don't know.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Bill Nye was wrong about GMOs,
He was.
so I don't know if I can support him now.
Oh,
Well, okay, but hold on. Let's talk about that because I remember the episode of that new show that came out where he had somebody from Monsanto. And for a long time, he was very anti-Monsanto. And then they invited him there, and he was like, at least it seemed transparent. He said, they're not paying me, but now that I've been out there, I understand what Monsanto is doing, and I support them from the standpoint of they're doing good science. They're trying to make crops better, not the world worse. They're not trying to fuck over the world.
Honestly, I respect and admire the fact that you can be so strongly for something and then years later do an 180. And that just demonstrates to me that you have a open mind. And that's what science is all about, is having a curious open mind and being able to be wrong.
There's no pride in defending an outdated point of view.
Yes.
There's no pride to be had.
Things change.
Yes. Yeah.
Like there are so many, if you look back at the history of science, like I took a class on that in college, history of science. Like there are so many instances where these huge theories were debunked.
Right.
And they said, actually, this is how it is. And you have to accept it.
Well, and
it's what we knew with the current technology.
Yes. And look at the people who were ahead of the curve, all the time. Look at the people who were
once considered on the fringe of science.
Yeah.
Now are
Galileo,
exactly.
Darwin. Yeah.
People weren't ready to necessarily accept the truth that they were professing, even though we know now we've verified it over a long period of time. We've verified these things to be true.
A lot of people nowadays, science is under scrutiny constantly, but I think in the current climate, it's more so than ever. And I think we need to remind people that science is the best thing we have.
Right. Well, because the idea
right or wrong, proven or unfactual, science is still the best thing that we have to measure truth, right?
Right. Yeah, if we this is the frustrating part about all of the dissent and skepticism that some people in the world have against science. Like when you understand, like when you hear somebody try to claim that the moon landing was fake. Like I grew up, when I was growing up, like I was a really big astro science nerd. I was like, that was my first passion, was like the planets. I could name all the planets when I was like 5 years old because that's what really interested me. Like I was the kid that wanted to go to space camp because that was what interested me. That was my first real passion. And it's always stuck around. Like I love keeping up with that realm of information. The other day I got to school. That's one thing nice about being in Florida. The other day I showed up to school. I get to school at like 7:30 in the morning usually. My drive takes me east, and I park. My car faces east. So right as I park, I'm like looking out the back into my spot. I'm looking out the windshield, and I see like two teachers walk out of the building. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why are people leaving at this hour of the day? I get out of my truck, and it's people I knew, and they're like, there's a rocket. It's going off like right now. I'm like, perfect timing.
Nice.
Yeah. So like I just like jumped in the back of my truck, sit there and look at it. And sure as shit, a SpaceX rocket is going up into space right
From
then.
From where?
From Kennedy.
Yeah.
From Kennedy
Kennedy?
Space Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look it up, Elon and SpaceX just sent another one up. And it's like, it was actually really cool because the booster that they used, one of the boosters was on its fourth run. This was their fourth.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Their fourth launch with the same booster,
and I assume it was
still
successful.
landed. Yep,
We're talking about this now. We're like fourth run in 20,
I know, right?
30 years. It's like that's nothing, man.
I wonder how
the shit lands and takes off 100 times.
How many times we'll actually be able to use them?
I don't know.
He talks a bit about that
because they're actually using them right now, right? Like they're not just tests.
No, they're sending missions. Yeah,
sending satellites.
Yeah, and it was cool.
And stuff.
Like, so if you remember so the mission just ended. The two guys that they sent up, SpaceX got the commission to send up two astronauts. So NASA astronauts flew on SpaceX rocket for the first time. SpaceX, they docked with the ISS for the first time as a private corporation, which I think is great. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
When your government doesn't provide enough funding to send people into space, or
and it wasn't
give
even that.
Well, not that, but doesn't give the initiative to do so.
Yeah.
Well, we
let
have
the
a Space
private
Force
sector
now.
do its thing. Let them let them collaborate with the best minds in the industry, which
Yeah.
NASA has, right? Inarguably. Let them figure shit out and collab and do really great things.
Yeah, it's not like SpaceX went behind their backs or anything. It was a SpaceX NASA collaboration.
Yes.
A collaborative effort.
Right.
You know, so yeah, seeing American astronauts go up to space, so if you follow space science and all that stuff, you'll know that for the last decade plus, the preferred method for sending American astronauts to space is Ukraine. Or, sorry,
Russia,
not Ukraine.
Russia, right?
Well, Russia, technically, yes. But
Yeah.
I think where they go up is in Kazakhstan or
One of
Ukraine or something like that.
Yeah, Russia.
So
influenced.
it's cosmonaut program. They send them up in these rockets that are not developed by us, but they send our people up
Yeah.
because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to just pay the Russian government to send our astronauts up than it is to develop our own program. But now Elon has stepped in and said, "Hey, I can do it for cheaper." Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, like you always hear that quote. I don't know if it was Neil Armstrong or Buzz or I forget the other guy's name, Michael something, from the first like Apollo missions. Like there was a little bit of hesitation about the early Apollo days because those guys were going up on rockets that were built by the lowest bidder. We tend to forget that the space program and government agencies are typically, those contracts are given to the lowest bidder.
A lot of times, yeah.
We don't pay
Reputable bidder.
Yeah, yeah. When you get bids, say you get 3 bids, Boeing, Lockheed,
Yeah.
or
But the other thing,
SpaceX
a lot
now.
of times that happens is they'll be the lowest bidder, and it'll end up costing twice as much, and the government
yes.
still pays for
that.
it.
Well, but
always. And
yeah, but the
that's the
thing
case
is-
in any negotiation. Is
Yeah.
they'll be the lowest bidder, but
Yeah.
what happens after the initial person
And-
is picked, they negotiate further.
Yeah, and
Right.
a tricky thing that they do is they will purposely build software or hardware so that it would be extremely expensive for the government the next time they have to bid on a contract to
Yep.
switch to another
Yeah.
contractor.
Yeah,
Right.
And another thing they do is they will develop software as like R&D that helps for that program. So
Right.
then the government has to buy
Foot
that,
the bill.
whatever. It's crazy.
yeah. It's very bureaucratic and it's very it's too convoluted.
Yeah.
It's too complicated, and that's how you come up with things like the F-35. The F-35 jet was
That cost $1 trillion.
Oh my god, it
Yeah.
cost so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And we paid for it. It was taxpayer money.
Yep.
But we buy into this military industrial complex. We
We need it to
Gladly-
keep us safe because the flag is immortal.
you know what? Yeah, obviously inflation needs to be accounted for here, but when
Imagine
JFK decided you're good.
You first.
When JFK decided we wanted to go to the moon, it was like a matter of pennies. It was a matter of pennies per year as far as how much money Americans were charged additional, like added on. Your taxes only went up by a couple of pennies.
Right.
And that tripled the funding or quadrupled the funding of NASA. When he established NASA and then started increasing funding for them, we went to the moon only really in the grand scheme of life, we only went to the moon a handful of years after the Wright brothers flew in 1903 for the first time. The span of time between the first flight ever to going to the fucking moon. Like when we were in high school, the TI-84 calculator, the Texas Instruments TI-84,
Yeah, right.
standard fare calculator for anybody that took calculus or if you took
Yep.
advanced trigonometry or anything like that.
probably
Like you
still
had to
used.
use that or the TI-89, right?
Yeah,
So I was an engineering
It
major
cost
for a
like
while.
$150 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you had to buy that fucking calculator.
My parents were so
That
pissed.
calculator was more intelligent than the rocket that
Yeah.
flew to the fucking
I've
moon.
seen people
Yeah.
put Skyrim on those.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah, you can play
calculators.
Mario Kart on a calculator
Right.
because it's more complicated than the rocket that took us to the
processor
moon
power
for
on
the
it's
first time.
Pretty
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
did so
mini
much with
computer.
so little, and Americans nowadays don't always appreciate the amount of technology that they use every day. Like there is so much technology that we use
Yeah.
on a daily basis that was created because we needed to get to the moon or we needed to orbit the
power
Earth or-
tools, right?
Power
Power
tools,
tools
yeah.
were created.
Batteries,
Right. Yeah.
battery packs. What else? Cellular antenna devices, GPS. For the most part, Doppler radar systems
A
were
lot of
developed
stuff-
by a woman a long time ago.
Right. A lot of stuff developed for the military.
So what
like
you're
with the
saying? So
technology.
what you're saying is the Cold War essentially launched us into a era of innovation and technology, unparalleled to anything before it.
Necessarily, yes.
Until Elon Musk came into
So
the picture.
yeah.
well, that was the thing I was going to bring up is
Yeah.
like, what do we have currently in our society that is propagating the amount of innovation
China.
that was yeah,
Honestly,
China.
we should use China as a motivating factor.
I'm just saying, like, we thank God we have people like Elon Musk who are willing to put everything on the line
yes.
and for the sake of innovation into
Yeah.
saving
I think
our planet and
Yeah.
moving America,
Elon
across.
gets so much shit for some of the
Needle.
stuff he does because people view it as being self-interested because he's a billionaire,
Yeah.
But nobody asked him to help
I mean,
Flint,
who cares
Michigan.
if it's self-interest?
Nobody asked him to help Flint, and he
Right.
did anyways.
Right.
Nobody asked him to help with sending respirators to New York City when we needed them for COVID.
Nobody asked
Now,
him to go
to be fair,
fight in front of Washington to warn us about the dangers of AI.
Or
Right, but he still is.
Or to send whatever he did scuba shit to those kids who were
Yeah.
stuck in the Thailand or in Thailand in a cave.
Yeah.
right?
Nobody asked him to send a fucking Model S into space.
But he did anyways
Yeah.
because he fucking wanted to.
But do you know?
Sheer will.
Yeah. To
We
answer,
need guys
I
like
think
him.
to answer your question is like usually we don't do things until we have to.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like in the
Yeah.
U.S. with like, I mean, I think we started preparing for COVID like when we knew it was kind of a big deal, but people didn't get serious about it until the infections and death rate went up.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now there's not really a lot. Like Elon's probably an exception, and his companies are probably an exception. But
Yeah.
I think what will be the next thing is probably the effects of climate change.
I think
when
so
it gets
too.
so bad that people are dying.
Yeah.
I mean, people are from the fires, right?
For sure,
People
yeah.
are dying.
Well, it's going to get worse
Yep.
though because
Food
as the,
shortages, water shortages.
yeah, and it's fucking terrifying. Like, so we've been over it before several times, and by now in this episode, I live in Florida. And Florida
It's below
is
sea level.
Oh yeah, Florida. Well, Florida's at sea level.
In some places, they're below
yeah,
that, right?
you got to be very
The Keys.
present. You got to be very omnipresent of your floodage. Like they make, no matter where you are in Florida, they make like flood maps, and they tell you like, hey, if the water level increases this much, this is going to be underwater.
And
Yeah,
you're
in some-
required to get insurance in some
Uh-huh.
areas, right?
Yeah, in some
So
areas
I'm-
you're required. Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. Like where my house is particularly is, I'm like a solid like 15 to 20 feet above sea level. So like I'm good. I'm lucky. So I get a tax break. I get not a tax break, but an insurance break, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah, insurance.
I get a break, because of happenstance. I happen to be above the flood risk.
But you sorry,
You're fine.
you're in the hurricane insurance.
Oh yeah, I get hurricane. I have
Yeah.
hurricane insurance as well.
That's
but like,
pretty expensive. So when I
Well-
compared my insurance for a single family home in
Yeah.
outside of Denver, it was about half the amount that my dad pays in Florida.
well, because we have risks.
Yeah.
You don't
High
have the same
risks.
risks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
In insurance, you mean? Or
Yeah.
taxes?
Insurance.
Insurance, okay.
Well,
Insurance,
and
yeah.
the nice thing is the way that it's budgeted.
Not taxes.
You pay money into, unless you're a weirdo and you like to do it on your own. You pay money into escrow, and the escrow holds your money all year with your mortgage payment, and then it pays your taxes and it pays your insurance and all that stuff. So
Right.
really, most people don't think about it, to be honest. But
It's like your monthly payment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
lobbed in with whatever you owe in your interest and principal.
Yeah.
and that's it.
exactly. So
Yeah. You pay that one lump sum.
yeah, and then it makes it pretty mindless for most people. But yeah, and then the nice thing is, like if a tree falls on my house and fucking ruins my house, or if I flood or whatever, my deductible's not actually that bad. All things considered, I could do a lot of damage. A lot of damage could be done to my house, but I'm not going to pay that much money. I do pay more in insurance, but
Yeah.
that's what you get for.
It
I
happens
also
like-
don't pay state income tax.
Yeah.
I don't pay tax rates like the rest of the country does.
Yeah,
you know?
you don't. It's
Right.
it's great. Like you in Texas and Was it Nevada or
There's a few of them.
Connecticut up
Alaska?
to 500,000 doesn't.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
Really? Wow.
It's only, but I mean, think about it. The amount of people that live in Connecticut but commute to New York and make
Yeah.
over 500,000.
That's true.
They
Yeah,
get
I
plenty of
think
income tax.
like my dad got pretty like his house wasn't damaged by Hurricane
I remember.
Irma, but
You guys had
like
some
he
damage.
had some damage on his roof.
Yeah.
And he was coming up on the I don't know, maybe he wasn't coming up. But anyway, he ended up getting a whole new roof, and his
Yeah.
insurance company sent him a check for it because he had,
That's what it's for.
yeah, it's what it's for. When you have a hurricane come through and some,
Yeah, we have it so good,
issues.
and some people don't always appreciate that. Like,
What?
we need a better system for everybody, for sure. But like the way that
Insurance?
we are insured, yeah, at least it keeps us from, in certain aspects, anyways, homeowners insurance.
Insurance is a scam, bro.
For sure,
just
for
kidding.
sure.
I'm
But
just
it's no, honestly,
Just dental insurance.
Dental
yeah, bro,
insurance,
right?
yeah.
I
I went to the dentist after about 3 years of not going to the dentist, and they were like, "Hey, your teeth are in impeccable shape."
Really.
Yeah, I was like,
You
"Well,
wanna
what
hear
are you
something funny?
for?"
You want me to drop a bomb for you guys?
Okay.
Guess when the last time I went to the dentist was? Guess
Oh,
how many
God.
years it's been?
Jesus
I'll
Christ.
give you a
Well,
hint.
you're on
It's,
a
it's a
low
matter of
salary,
years.
Do
so
you
maybe,
have dental
never.
insurance?
Yeah, I
Okay.
only last
Good.
year started paying for it.
Only
I
last
didn't
year.
go to the
Okay.
dentist, and now this year I still have dental insurance.
So
But-
I'm gonna say probably about 7 years.
okay. I will say
definitely-
nothing about it until Chase
You
guesses.
definitely didn't go during college. I know that for sure. So.
Because I
and
didn't
you were like
either.
a sixth-year senior,
Right.
So I'm gonna say 10 years.
It's been at least 10 years since I've been to a dentist.
Hell yeah!
Now I'll also tell you this: I have no tooth pain.
Yeah.
I have several fillings that I had done before then. I have no tooth pain though.
Right.
No sensitivity.
But
I
mean,
floss.
So
I use fluoride.
right.
I brush my teeth twice a day.
You're such a
And
good
some
boy.
people have really what the dentist has told me. Some people
Mhm.
have really good genes. Like
For
if
good
you buy
dental
them
health.
from a
I will also
expensive place.
say,
But I also know somebody who takes really good care of their teeth,
Uh-huh.
doesn't have tooth pain, and they recently went to the dentist and had to get a root canal.
damn.
Yeah.
Had
Like,
six
see, that shit
cavities or
scares
something
me,
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
in like just like probably one of the best people I know, like takes the best care of their teeth out
Yeah.
of anyone I know.
Now I will
It's,
say this
it's
too,
really
though.
weird.
I have impeccably good luck. I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I don't have good luck in the
It's
way
'cause you're
that you
friends
would
with
want
me.
it to be. Yeah, I mean, we went to the casino yesterday. I was the first person to lose all their money. I lost all my money.
Oh yeah.
I have $2 left out of 100. I started with $100 and I have two $1 coins left because I lost all my money.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Like
Yeah, you
you
had
look
fun.
at gambling. You have
It
to
was
look at
the most
gambling like
expensive
you have to
drink that
lose
you
at some point.
ever had.
you're gonna pay money.
So-
Yeah. The last time I gambled, I won like $400 in craps.
Right.
We won a whole bunch of money playing craps.
So
So-
over the course of your life,
Over 2 years,
yeah,
3
you're
years, I'm
up.
still positive $300 as far as gambling is concerned. Yeah, I'm fine. But
Good way to look at it.
it's no big deal. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. You
love it.
have to be willing to part ways with that money to
course.
be able to gamble. So
Good
for
advice
whatever.
for everybody.
But
honestly,
I'm not lucky in that way. I never win money off scratch offs. Never. Like literally never. I've never won more than $1 or maybe $2 off scratch offs. But pretty regularly I arrive at restaurants right before they get busy. I know that's a weird thing to say, but like
You're just
there
an
are-
old man, so you
I have
get
a couple
there at,
people
like,
who
3
can
o'clock
verify
in the
that, yeah.
You always
afternoon.
getting the early bird special.
No, not even that. Like I just like the other day,
He does.
Kylie and I went to Moe's. We went to Moe's for lunch, and
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I know, right? Sorry. 10 minutes after we got there, like we got done
Yeah.
ordering, we're sitting down, we're already eating our food. There's like 7 people in line. When
Right.
we walked in, there was nobody in the restaurant.
What time
You
is
know?
it?
Like noonish, like lunchtime.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's an early
Yeah.
dinner.
that very.
This guy
'Cause
goes
I'm
to bed
so
at like
old.
9 o'clock at night.
No, I go to bed at 4 p.m.
Nice.
Wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Scott was
It's
always
not
the
bad.
first one asleep at all of our parties, and it never changed.
Yeah.
Never changes.
You know, I have found and come to realize that I am perfectly happy being the first one to dip
Yeah.
at a party. Every party, there's always that guy who goes home early. You know, there's that the first person that has to dip out.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy being that guy because I got really good at making the Irish exit.
Yeah.
You know,
the
you
Irish
just
exit.
kind of like say goodbye to one person and then you just leave.
Or you don't even
That's
have
it.
to do that. You just leave.
Yeah, I mean, it works best when you say bye to one person, because then inevitably somebody goes like, "Is Scott still
Where's
here?"
Scott? And it's like, oh no, he's
And then
gone.
somebody goes, he left. He had to go home." And then you go, "Oh, all right, whatever."
Yeah, you're like, he was really cool.
My girlfriend is the exact same way.
Aw,
Nice.
We are always the first
perfect for
person's
each other.
first people to go
I
to
have
bed.
met her. She seems like the one for you.
I think so.
I don't know. She's
Kay,
just-
if you're
yeah.
listening to this, I know I already said her name accidentally, but
It's
whatever.
okay.
No, nobody's gonna know.
Yeah, she's fine.
We've also had.
She's got a veil of anonymity.
I don't think we've said anything so thus far to get any of us canceled.
Yeah, we're.
Not yet.
Oh man. Okay, let's talk about that because
Oh,
we are all
no.
three white men. No matter how tan Miles looks, he is white. He's a white man.
Yeah,
He's
disclaimer.
white as
You're a
white
bit of
Russian.
you're a bit of a guinea too, right? You guys
Yeah.
are Italian,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your mom?
She's
Where's she
kind of
from?
a mutt. She's Germanic,
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian,
yeah.
Polish a little bit.
I don't think she's Germanic.
Also has no.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, maybe my dad's side.
Yeah.
Is a
Wait, yeah.
little bit
So
of
what's
that.
your dad's side?
Mostly Italian. Yeah.
Okay.
So our grandma's from Sicily.
Is your grandma like one of those like nonas like that has like a million recipes, or were you guys close with her?
we
She
didn't really-
died when we were pretty young.
Yeah, we didn't really get to know
Unfortunately.
her.
Yeah, but she was like pretty stereotypical. Like she had tons of wrinkles on her face. You know what I mean?
How old were you
Really
guys when she
dark.
passed? If I may.
I want to say I was probably 12,
So you would have been 10?
Around there.
10 maybe.
Maybe a little younger than that.
Yeah, a little younger. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
probably.
It's enough to where
yeah.
we remember her. At least for me, I remember her, but
But not
not
deeply.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, she was very much like following the lead of her husband a lot.
Yeah.
And in that old culture, I think she was very much like taking the lead of her husband, but
I
like
see.
and really didn't help out a lot. Like a traditional grandma, I think of American culture
Might have.
portrays is
Yeah.
like coming over to like take care of the kids, making a lot of dinners and stuff. I don't think we saw a lot of that.
Okay. Where did they live? Where
Right
did they
next store to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like an
that's right.
everybody
I
loves
remember.
Raymond
The little
scenario.
house.
Yep. Yeah, because I remember, dude,
Yeah.
high school days going out to the man cave in the back, and yeah, knowing that your grandparents lived next door.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and for the longest time, like a lot of my memories were unfortunately without my grandma, and
Yeah.
it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I lost my grandma, my mom's mom, when I was 2.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Our grandma, I think a lot of the complications. So she died of a heart attack. I think was the condition.
final straw.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it largely was due to the fact that she struggled as a child with I think it was scarlet fever.
Oh, wow.
And I
Okay.
think that it's either scarlet fever
Rheumatic.
or rheumatic fever.
Oh.
So when you and now I think they have a lot of medicine to combat that, but when you were
Yeah.
if you were younger and you got that, it did a lot of damage to your heart.
Yeah.
I think it was they didn't have the antibiotics
Yes.
that
To
they
fight
have
it.
now, right?
Yeah.
So then you would just like you couldn't stop the sickness. Like you
Isn't
would
that
just
one
get
of the
sick.
that's
until
one of
you
the
got
great
better.
tragedies of our of any generation, I'm sure. You could listen to this in 100 years and you go like, wow, I can't believe those people dealt with cancer. Like
Yeah.
cancer is going to
Or
be
Cancer.
HIV.
you know what I mean?
So
like
I just saw COVID is now the third leading cause of death in the United States.
wow.
The first one is heart disease.
Yeah, I was going to say still got to be heart disease
Yep.
and then probably lung
Second is cancer.
cancer.
Just
Wow,
cancer in
okay.
general.
That's vague. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it covers all
A lot of
cases of
cancers,
cancer.
yeah.
Yeah, cancer is pretty nuanced.
You know, I've read
complicated
that
thing.
1 in 4 Americans will suffer from a chronic illness at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
How fucked
Believe
is that?
We don't
part of
have
being
that
human.
healthy of diets, to be honest.
I don't think it's not part of being human, man. I'll tell you, it's part of being an American human.
I guess. I mean,
Unfortunately.
I think it's well, when you get older, a lot of things happen with your
Yeah.
body. It's just your immune system can't keep up. It's kind of like the instance with like I think it's like shellfish or lobster. Lobsters effectively have genes that allow them to live forever,
Right.
but they have to molt their shell, right?
Right.
So the amount of energy it takes to molt your shell, it just can't be replicated in later years of their
Right.
existence.
Right.
So if they cut that little piece out of their cycle, they would effectively be able to live forever. I think it's like essentially the same way as like
Yeah.
for humans, and we're talking about this, and none of us have any kind of degree to back
We got
this.
bro science on our side, bro.
science.
I have a biology minor, actually.
Wow, Miles is
Do you
most
really?
qualified
Yeah.
person
A bio
to talk
minor?
about
I
this
have
stuff.
a bio minor. And
What did that entail,
And
though?
a math minor.
Like bio 1, bio 2,
He was trying.
Bio 1, bio 2 genetics.
that was his
chemistry
major
1, chemistry 2,
when he first started.
organic.
Yeah.
So you have
chemistry.
legit chem. Okay.
Yeah.
Not the silly
Physics.
chem.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I took chem for engineers because I was an engineering student. So I took that, but it was basically me and my buddies who took the class, going like, "What the fuck is this you're talking
Yeah.
about?" Like,
No, it was hard stuff.
yeah.
Hard stuff
Yeah.
that I don't regret taking.
Okay.
It doesn't help me at all with my job, but
But still, I
I think I
feel
have
like
a good understanding of a lot of things.
yeah.
Yeah.
That like just common knowledge doesn't have.
The act of studying something difficult does make you better, whether it's useful to your daily life or not.
Right.
The act of doing something that is difficult is beneficial,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think also just it's not necessarily about what you learn in terms of being able to recall facts or
Sure.
things or equations or whatever. There's a bit of cognitive ability that's gained in studying some of these things that you can apply to so many different things
Yeah.
in life that you
Yeah.
encounter down the road, that is not about biology, but maybe it's about understanding, I don't know, political science or
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on this era where pretty soon we're going to realize, for the large majority of people, that, and I think for a lot of people, we've already kind of figured it out. Like you and I, the three of us, I think we've pretty well figured it out, that the ability to learn, just the ability to learn anything difficult is proof that you are a useful member of society in some way, shape, or form. It's not so much that you have gained the knowledge from one specific degree program or, a course work or whatever. It's not about the fact that you graduated with this degree. It's the fact that you are capable of graduating with
Yeah.
a degree,
Right.
in whatever.
And I think that's why a lot of professional degrees require recs
Mm-hmm.
that may not really have anything to do with or like it's not heavily used in that
Sure.
field,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because they want that what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
your ability to overcome problem solving.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of just college.
For sure.
degree. I mean, it's not about
For
learning
sure.
about specific thing. It's about the ability to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Just do it.
My
Just
girlfriend
do
is like, my girlfriend's a lawyer, right? So my girlfriend went to law school. That's what that means. She graduated from law school. She passed the bar, and she's a lawyer. But in order to get into law school, you don't necessarily need any one degree. She has a legal studies degree because she wanted to go to law school. But like I knew other people who went to music school and then went to law school.
Yeah.
I know people who went to school for business and then went to law school.
You have to take the LSAT. I think that's what it's
Yeah.
what it's called.
Yeah.
That's like an.
I mean, I have a graphic design degree. If I went to
Right.
take the LSAT today, and I'm not saying I would, but if I like aced it, I could get into a law school.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It's
what
not so much. It's
Yeah.
not about what your background knowledge. It's
Yeah.
about your ability to process information and logically reason your way through situations.
Yeah.
That's why they say, like, when you're going through college and you're unsure what you want to do, they a lot of advice I think that should be given, or maybe is already given, is like, don't sweat about what you learn about.
Right. Just learn.
Pick something
Learn
that
for
maybe
the sake
you're
of
interested
learning.
in, and pursue that. And then if
Okay.
by the end of your 4 years you're not interested in getting deeper into that career, find something else. And as long as you have a degree,
Sure.
most people will pick you up, and you're smart and you're intuitive, and you can actually be social during
Yeah.
an interview.
I mean, you did the same thing kind of as me. Like, you did engineering first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you regret taking the engineering
Not at
courses?
all. Not at all. Because you take those courses and like you see those people that are going to last. Also, one funny thing is like in the beginning of engineering, you take this course at UCF. You take a course called ENG 1001 is the course code or whatever. It's like as basic as it gets. And one of the first days of that class, you know, it's August of your freshman year of engineering school. You're at a big university in this big 400 person hall, and they go, look to your right, now look to your left.
Classic.
Yeah.
Only one of the three of you will graduate with an engineering degree.
Right.
One out of every 3 students who starts in engineering graduates with engineering at that school. And it was funny because I was with 2 friends of mine, and of those 3 friends, of me, my 2 friends and I, of the 3 of us, only one of us graduated with an engineering degree. They were, they were absolutely
and some
right.
people will look at that and be like, what a pessimistic view
Right.
that is.
No, but it's realistic. It's realistic.
It's not because you can't do it. So like no
Yeah.
one should go into it thinking like I can't do this. It's because like you go into another interest,
Right.
Or your life
Yeah.
changes and so, like you just
That's exactly
want to
what
do
happened
something
for me,
else.
and
Right.
it's what happened for you. You
Right.
know, we got to that point. I was in Diff EQ, and I was in Calc 1, or maybe I was in Calc 1 looking at Diff EQ next
that?
semester, and I'm
Diff
looking
EQ?
at all that shit, and I'm
Differential
just
equation.
like,
Oh, okay.
I'm just like
I'm an
looking at
artist.
all of those courses, and I'm like, I don't think I want
yeah,
to do that.
I thought that too. Actually, what I thought
was
is
good
I don't
at
want
it.
to go to school for 8 more years.
yeah, really,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's such a tough degree to get, you know? I just didn't have passion in it, so
Yeah.
here's what I wanted to ask you guys though. Like, what is the thing that has nothing to do with your career, but that interests you the most? What is it? It doesn't have to do with what you do for a job, for money. Nobody pays you to be interested in it, but it really interests you.
I think
Sleeping?
Drugs?
drinking
I
bourbon.
really like
No.
drinking and hanging out with my cats.
I like working with my hands a lot. Building this bar and basement,
Which is beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you're going to get one camera shot of this whole bar. But let me tell you that the details are phenomenal. For a guy that just has a house that that happened to have a basement and happened to decide to want to do a podcast, you did a really good job. You really did.
Thanks. I think working with your hands, I want to encourage a lot of people to pursue like trade careers like plumbing and woodworking is a different thing, but like you don't have to go sit in an office and crunch numbers or engineer or design things to be successful or happy. It can just be as simple as being a plumber or being an electrician or being somebody that lays concrete. I mean, those are very well paid jobs, I think, and a lot of people find passion on being on site and working with their hands. And it's also more encouragingly
Third time's a charm.
a job that won't be affected by the ever-changing landscape of AI.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a robot or something that comes down here to solder cotter pipe to build a basement plumbing system for your bathroom. And so nuanced. So, but I think going back to your question, I like business proposals. I think those are pretty interesting.
That's your job though.
It's my job, but I mean,
like
I enjoy what I do.
To be fair, though, I mean, because you started in a graphic design background, you didn't go to school to be a businessman. You went to school to be a graphic designer.
And I don't think I am now. I think I'm first and foremost, like you said, a designer, and I give aesthetic to the proposal in the same way that Cole, who was on the podcast episode before this one, a lot of his job right now at Amblin is creating creative decks for pitches.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money in that, and there's a lot of I think opportunity to grow from that, because you become so connected and network with people in that whole environment. You know, you're constantly in front of people making big decisions,
Right.
because you're the one that created the pitch. So you have the people that are backing financially the pitch, the people that are putting together the pitch, and people who are connecting everybody together for that pitch. And I think there's a lot of, I call it, fun that can happen in between that occurs. So no, I enjoyed that part of my career, and the hands-on part of it.
I find it interesting that it's a weird like dichotomy almost, because you also, side note, just because I think it's absolutely hilarious, I remember at one point in high school, Chase and I were talking about Apple products, and he was like, dude, they're just over engineered, overpriced. You waste of money.
I still believe that they're overpriced.
True. And to be fair, now as like competent adults, we can honestly say, like, yeah, you're paying for an Apple logo on your stuff.
I maxed out.
But they're good products.
I maxed out a Mac Pro, the current one that's on the market. Is you can max it out. I think it's like $52,000.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
for all the shit. But so you went into a field, like, you have a very design. I find to be, it's a creative job. You're creating things. You have parameters and you have guidelines and you have like things that you let mold the route that you're going to take to design something, but you have a creative job that you have found a passion in the very like orderly, structured nuance of the job. You know what I mean? Whereas you've found a creative outlet and found passion in the orderly professional side of it, right?
Yeah, it's weird because there's the artistic, I guess, very generalized idea of like what an artist does, and then there's like the actual job that an artist can do that actually makes money, which is like going to investors and pitching an idea, getting funding. Like,
yeah,
we're all big boys. We live in a capitalist environment. This is what it's like being a designer or an artist in the business world. And
I can empathize.
It's coming to somebody with an idea, making it look good aesthetically,
marketable,
selling that idea.
Right.
And nowadays you can't sell an idea without making it look flashy, especially in the capitalist world. I mean, think about how much money goes into selling an iPhone. It's literally just a black block of blob.
Yeah, they make it as simple as they can.
But every year they tinker it and make it look so sexy with all the little slow form gradient commercials and slowly turning and the lights flashing in such a small way.
And my favorite part is that it's always the best iPhone yet.
Yeah, and so
always
right.
So being a part of the team that essentially creates the illusion of success and selling a product, I think, is fascinating to me. And I think there's longevity in that part in my career. So
for sure.
And being happy to wake up and go do that every day. I'm happy to, I'm proud, and I feel job security in that. So
it's good to be able to have something that you do every day that doesn't take away from your life. You and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
You know how how wonderful it is, or maybe it was today. The days run together, but to be able to wake up in the morning and go do something that doesn't just take away from your life, but it adds to it. You know, the ability to.
Yeah. Right now, we could take such a simple idea or such a worthless commodity, package it up, slap a fancy logo on it, fancy packaging,
Yeah.
and make it look like a $1 million idea. And that's the beauty of like what like I can do, or what people in my industry can do is put a schlack of paint over something and make it look a lot fancier than it is. You know, it may seem a little sketchy or seedy, but
It can be.
it can be. Like,
I
it
think that's why
depends-
people see it like that.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're doing it for. Like, if you're somebody who's trying to maliciously mislead somebody,
Yeah. What are your motives?
yeah, or in like a 180 that is like somebody who authentically believes in the product or the vision or the idea of what
Yeah.
you're trying to paint a schlack of creativeness over. You know, it's all, I guess, subjective in that
Yeah.
sense.
Very
Miles,
subjective.
what about you? We
Yeah.
just went on that tangent. What was the original question? I think it was like,
like-
Because
what-
I wanted to know what your like, because everybody has like everybody has a
passion.
job. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has to have a job pretty much. But what is the thing that you're passionate about that isn't necessarily your job, but that gives you motivation? You know, that drives you to do something else, to do anything really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really like learning, but I don't like learning too much about something. And so then it becomes difficult for me because I have a hard time sticking to one thing and
Right.
liking it. Like, I like science, I like technology, I like art. I like a lot of different things, and I
Right.
like trying those things and getting to know a little bit about those things, but not too much. And that's not a job. So
Right.
when people say do something that you love because then it won't be a job, I don't believe in that for myself. I think
Right.
that can be great for other people, but when I do something 40 hours plus a week, every week for my entire life, it just can't be like good.
Right.
that is a very dangerous statement to say to young people.
Yeah, it is. It is very detrimental to some people.
Yeah, because
you're not the
yeah.
only person in the world that feels like that.
listen,
Right.
It
to
is A-okay.
all young people, work is still work.
Yeah.
Right.
And no matter
Not-
what you
yeah.
do for work, at some point it's gonna become less of a passion, and it's
Right.
gonna become work,
Yeah, because
whether you like it or not.
I know people who bounce from job to job to job, who just make up excuses for why they don't like working there.
Yeah.
But the underlying factor to their dissatisfaction is like they just don't want to work.
Yes.
They don't want to. They don't want to
Yeah.
put in the hard work that it takes to be successful.
Right.
So I don't want to give the false illusion that any job or field that you get into that you think you're going to enjoy, and it's not going to be all roses and sunshine, and
Yeah.
you're not going to wake up every single day being like, "This is the best day of my life.
Yep.
I'm so excited to go to work." Work
You may for a few
sometimes
days.
will always
Yeah.
be work.
Right.
Yep.
It's all about what you make the day.
Unless you have a trust fund and you're a photographer and you
Yeah.
get to travel the world and you like doing
Yeah,
that.
I know it. I know this guy. He's the son of the original bass player from AC/DC.
Nice.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You told me about this
Yeah.
guy. He got
so
that sick ass guitar.
Uh-huh.
Is he living in Marco?
He used to live
Okay.
in the Southwest Florida area.
Okay.
I don't remember where exactly they lived. Probably Naples.
Yeah,
Probably, if I had to guess. But so this kid, he's the son of one of the greatest rock bands of all time.
Yep.
He's got the kind of money where he doesn't have to have a job. Like, he can do whatever he wants. So he was into cars, and he was into trucks, and he's into photography, and he lives some of the year in the Bahamas, and he lives some of the year in Montana, and he just kind of does whatever he wants because he's got that kind of money. He's got the freedom, to do whatever he wants. So he doesn't do anything for a job. He doesn't need to make money. There's no need for income.
Right.
So, he has that kind of life.
Yeah, and that's a
good
a
for
great
him.
life. I think it's extremely rare. Most
Yeah.
people will never
Extremely
ever
rare.
have that, and the
Yeah,
only
the-
reason you have that is because somebody else doesn't, or
Right.
or multiple people don't.
Many people in this
and,
case.
and,
Yeah.
and it sucks to think about that.
Or somebody did the work for you.
Exactly.
Exactly. His dad
Exactly,
did a lot of
yes.
work. And whether it was work by the definition that you and I, the three of us, define work or not,
And that's a
he
lot
was in a
of
rock
the,
band.
And that's a lot of the goals of your fathers or the forefathers of many
Yeah.
generations is I will work and bust my ass so my
Kid doesn't have to.
Yeah, my kid doesn't have
and,
to. Yeah.
and I'll, like, to pay them back is that when you get old as the father, the son or daughter takes care of you.
Yeah,
It could,
either
right?
financially or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think I think that's an actual thing. Like it's a
Yeah.
community thing where as your offspring, they will take care of you when you're not able to do so.
Well, because
if you've been
we all
taken
have
care
that
of
drive, our moms took care of us, our dads took care of us, at least the three of us. We had families that wanted to provide for us, and whether they need it or not, we want to be able to give back.
Yeah.
We want to be able to repay the favor.
If
at the
we
very
can
least.
take that sentiment, that idea of the father working hard so his son doesn't have to, if we can apply that to large scale capitalistic economics, like
Yeah.
if Amazon makes so much money, maybe they should have to pay back so we don't have to work as hard. Like
Right.
like
Yeah.
if Silicon Valley is doing so well and they have $1 trillion market cap, shouldn't
Right.
that benefit the Americans in some kind of equal form?
You would think.
Yeah.
Why does Jeff Bezos need to be able to build an atomic clock inside of a mountain when there are homeless people?
Yeah.
Why did Jay-Z and Beyonce get to buy another ranch or another house or another whatever?
Right.
When there are people that don't have anything, when like even the vast mountain of wealth that some people have, I make, as a teacher, I make a good means. Like, it is not difficult for me to pay my mortgage and pay my bills. I don't struggle to do what to live my life. But there are people who have significantly less than I do, who have to afford more than I do, and they have to figure out how to make it work. And I think that might be a little fucked up, because
It's a little fucked up.
because if I were making a lot of money and I had to pay a lot more money in taxes, but I could see that there were people benefiting from my tax money. If I could look at people and go, you know what, that guy can feed his family more. That guy can rely on the schools that his kids go to because of me.
Yeah.
If that guy doesn't have to stress, if that guy can just be a little happier, and hug his kids a little more and be a little nicer and invest more emotion, money, feelings, whatever, into the world. If that person has more to give back to the world because I have more to give, that's a win.
Yeah.
I don't
Support
understand.
the home
That's-
team.
it's-
Support
Yeah.
the home team.
We're all on the same side.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Like-
a societal choice because not
Yeah.
everyone thinks that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Unfortunately.
yeah, it's unfortunate. And I
Yeah.
think that's where what was it, Dunbar or whatever's number
Yeah,
comes
Dunbar's
back.
number. Yeah.
Where it's like, we care about the people who are close to us and we'll
Yes.
do anything for them,
Yeah.
or almost anything for them. But
Yeah.
then when it's like the one guy who lives in New York, I don't give a fuck about him.
Yeah, he's outside my
You know what
100
the more
person
the
limit.
more depressing part is, like, Chase, how many of your neighbors do you know intimately? You know
One.
their names, maybe?
I know one
Yeah.
or two. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple people on my street, and they're all relatively in the same boat that I am.
Yeah.
So they don't rely on me. I don't rely on them for anything. But, like, I taught at a pretty shitty school. I taught at a school in a really rough part of town where 100%, not an exaggeration, 100%, every single student at my school qualified for free lunch because their families made so little money
Yeah.
that the government decided we ought to give you free food.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that those people had in front of them were not the same as the opportunities that I had. And my opportunities were complete happenstance. I happened to be born into a family that had opportunities. I happened to be from a town where there are lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
I didn't choose it. I didn't earn it. Nothing about my intelligence or skill or,
Yeah.
nothing
It
about
was solely
fairness
based on
dictated.
the sex and the color of your skin.
And that's
Right.
that's
I
a
got
really
lucky.
that's
Yeah.
a really complex topic because you if you compare pretty much anyone in the US, I mean, putting homeless people aside, that's a pretty awful position to be in. A
Yeah.
lot of times they don't have family or whatever. But if you compare most people in the US, they are much better off than most of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said if you make over $30,000 a year, that you're in the 1% of the world wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And like
It's not hard to believe. at
like
all.
you have to put that into perspective, because some like countries or some societies, like their means are just lower, so like
Right.
their things don't cost as much.
Yeah,
so
cost of
that's
living's
okay.
different, yeah.
But I think the large majority of the people are in poverty,
Yeah.
and the
well,
people
like,
can't afford what.
it's like when you
what they-
hear about the people that make Nike sneakers in China.
Yeah.
You know, or
iPhones.
I'm being very
Foxconn.
generalizing right now, but
Yeah.
I heard about
We generalize all the time on this podcast.
Yeah.
No worries.
but you know what? That's because we have this weird perspective where we don't have to know the exact numbers. But yeah, so I heard that it's some number, like, you know, say I'm hypothesizing based on what I remember, but it was like the vague figures of the story were that, you know, yeah, people in China are being paid $5 a day to make Nike sneakers, but the people that live in the same town as the Nike factory are only paid $2 a day, $2 American dollars a day. So while it might seem absurd to us that people making Nikes for us in America are only making $5 a day, they're actually making 2.5 times as much money as the average citizen. Those people making $5 a day are the wealthy class
Yeah.
of that area. They are actually more stimulated by economics.
Right.
That's
than
why
their
when
counterparts.
when you see like the Foxconn factories and they have the safety nets above the buildings because
God,
so
yeah.
many people jump off to kill themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans, they think to themselves, why don't they just quit?
Well, that's their best option.
Yeah.
Like,
And and this was similar to like when we were in South Africa. For what they do there is people will leave their home villages
Yeah.
and move to a place and work their ass off, and that's what it turns into: overworked people who aren't
Yep.
making enough money to pay for any kind of health care.
that was good. Thanks. Sorry to cut you off. I should mention we're drinking La's bourbon.
Laws bourbon.
La's
is that what
bourbon.
This is?
La's.
This is a Colorado.
Like La's-
Don't forget to give a
La's-
little bit
No, it's all right.
This
You
This
sure?
is good.
Yeah, no. Pour
Are you
the
sure?
rest in there.
Just the
Yeah.
end.
You can have
Just
the
a little
last.
bit.
Laws, like the law, like lawyer.
Yeah, La's. Yeah, so La's Distillery, Denver,
LAS?
Colorado, hand batched bourbon and other whiskeys. Oop,
Oh no.
we've been drinking. We've been drinking.
So
God
maybe a
forbid.
final cheers.
Fine. Last cheers. What is this to?
To hopefully the people of the
The
world,
people of the world.
and more specifically America, because
Prosperity.
that's our local society. The poor people, the people who need help, the homeless, that they are helped.
You know, Miles,
The
the
Miles.
more you talked, the worse it got.
The miles, I know.
If you just said
The people.
to the people,
To the people.
people.
to the people, it would have been fine.
I know.
To the people,
To the people who are less fortunate to have a podcast.
to the people, to prosperity and equitable opportunities for all.
Yeah.
May
Hear,
you
hear.
have the same opportunities as any of the rest of us. Here, here.
Yeah.
Just three white guys wishing everybody else
Drinking expensive
best.
whiskey.
How
The best?
fortunate
Is
are
it the
we?
best?
No,
In
it's just
Colorado,
expensive.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned about this place. I was at
Good.
a bar, and I had heard that they have clout here, obviously, and so I ordered a shot of this.
Oh,
And they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be $24."
For a shot?
Oh, good, cool.
cool.
Totally.
Tight.
Here you go. I already drank this. So I bought a bottle at Total Wine, which they just opened up their first location in Colorado.
Nice.
Total Wine.
Last year, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah, so I bought a bottle there, and yeah, it's good stuff. I think it's probably one of my
Say
favorites.
the title again. The name of the company.
La's Distilling.
Laws Distilling.
Yeah.
LAS. LAAS.
No. Yeah.
Spelling?
LAWS.
LAWS. Laws.
The
Yeah,
bottle is actually
Laws.
up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah, at the very top of the
Top.
back bar,
Left or right?
left. Yeah. That's good stuff. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, I see.
it's they do a lot. Also, a great company in Colorado is Leopold Brothers.
Leopold
They do a
Brothers. I
lot
know them.
of different flavored whiskeys and bourbons and stuff. So,
Big shouts out.
wow, how far into this are we?
I think
How far did we
we're
go?
Cow.
3 hours maybe.
Almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
So
We did good.
maybe we're gonna wrap it up.
We did good, kids.
I think this is it. Thanks everybody for listening. Scott,
Thank
any
you.
words of wisdom to our people of the internet?
If somebody offers you drugs, don't say no. Just take half. Just take half.
Okay.
Miles, any words
my
of wisdom to the people
No.
listening? No.
Also,
Nothing.
tip your
Nothing
waitresses
from Miles.
and tell every one of your family members that you love them.
I would
Tell them all that
say
you love them. I love you guys.
this
Yeah, I love you too, buddy.
podcast might
I
come
love
out after the election,
Yes.
but go
Oh,
vote anyway.
Yeah, that was gonna
Okay.
be mine. You stole mine.
So-
I was gonna say go vote. Go vote.
Interesting. Oh man.
We love people who are passionate about who they want in office, and we love the fact that we're able to voice our opinion. So go vote.
Yeah, I hope you voted.
I hope you vote.
I hope you voted.
I hope you voted.
If you vote Republican, great.
If you vote Democrat, great.
great.
White
Whoever you
wig.
want.
If you
Independent, okay.
If you didn't
Cool.
vote, then fuck you. No,
Just
no,
go
no, no.
vote. Voice your opinion, people. Thanks so much
I
for
love you.
doing that. Yeah.
I love you guys.
Thanks. Love you too.
We love you, people. Thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, we are at the Lucky Duck.
Later.
Goodbye.